You know what? I decided we'd go live just a minute sooner. I figured I couldn't wait any longer. All right, there we go. Hello, and welcome to our second attempt on Austria. Now that we're on patch 1.11 and they've fixed several issues, such as the issue where this heir would just mysteriously vanish into thin air and be replaced by a someone else. So I don't know what was going on with that. That was not good. Very not good. We are just going to kind of play along and have fun with Austria, but we are going for that neo-absolutist autocratic power system. So neo-autocrats. But we're going to do a few things differently here. We are not going to hard embrace into the church, probably. We'll actually let women have rights. I know we're not going pop birth maxing. We are going to also basically destroy the crown lands here by the end of 1836, and I will show very quickly. It really is just about liberty desire. And I know knowledge sharing here is going to give us that first year is going to cripple our tech spread, but it is for very good reason what we're doing here right now. All of this is just prepping to annex them by the end of 1836. Because the matter of Hungary allows you to integrate the crownlands as long as they all have less than 25 liberty desire, and with a bit of tweaking, you can get that by the tail end of 1836 if you're going to give up a little bit of land. We're also going to get our few tech started. Honestly, I just want to see how this goes, where we're not trying to just form Super Germany. We actually kind of stick to the journal entries, but also we're just going to try to break it and have fun. No more playing nice with the AI, basically. Do we really need this liquor? I mean, liquor's nice. Don't really need it, though, do we? Who needs liquor? Something else we're probably going to try to do is get the bourgeoisie a lot of just not pop attraction, but a lot of power. Because if you check a lot of the categories now, companies have various ownership titles. This was mentioned before, but this is more in full swing now that the company ownership is kind of working and monopolies aren't bugged to death. I still want to get the usual food corporation, though, just because I think even with partial aristocratic ownership, the 5% birth rate is just really nice, and solidifying food companies is pretty good. But we do have companies down here as well. Where was it? I saw it earlier. The painting company is partial academic ownership, which I kind of want to get just to see. That sounds really funny. There was also there was one that was partial bureaucrat ownership in here too. I think it's the Mavag. I might be mispronouncing it terribly as well. It's not showing up because it's a Hungary company. That's right. So we'll look into that shortly. But for now, I am going to get the food company, and we are going to do the favorite thing of monopolize all the food. But because a lot of our cultures, like Hungarian and South German, also start with meat obsessions now in the latest updates, we are going to try to make a lot... Oh, the Czechs have liquor obsession. Cool. We are going to try to make a lot of meat. Maybe a lot of liquor, too. We have a lot of liquor lovers, apparently, now. Apparently tobacco. We might boost the industrialist. I really want to boost the bourgeoisie, but we are going to kind of go like a industrialist bourgeoisie, moving from the Austrian aristocracy. But we're going to kind of can the church for once. We're just going to put the church kind of in a box, and we're going to forget about them. We're going to try to forget about them. Honestly, we'll see how long that takes. Actually, with what I'm planning, I don't want to do that. I want to do these three here. We are still going to need to build iron mines, and we're still going to need to build a lot of iron tools. So I'm just kind of getting that set up right here as we begin. Honestly, we're just going to get into it. The only other thing I need to do is maybe reform the government. It's really a question if we want the Catholic Church in power right now or not. Because we're not going to change a lot of these laws at the start. We're actually going to keep them where they are. See, that depends. I didn't think that part through. I do want to get public health care, and I do need the church for public health care. But otherwise, we're gonna kind of see where we go. We might go down the religious path. I just haven't decided. we very much could go for the usual pop maxing route, but I actually want to try doing it with women having rights and just a higher workforce ratio, because I've been falling into the legal guardianship rabbit hole way too much. Just like way too much. Also, I did forget to do something that I tested earlier right before we started. There's a really funny thing with the Ideological Union power block. If people are pursuing a maintained balance of power strategy and have similarities with you, it is hilariously easy to use the power block to just get friends. And in fact, I was going to show this off and forgot to initially. So I'm going to show that off right now. As well as get Russia to be our ally, just because Russia is good to have as an ally, I'd argue. Does this even help us? Yes, it does. Because what we're going to do here is set up a small network of friends. A very small, silly network of friends. Actually, yeah, give them trade privileges. Because you're going to find how funny this is in just a minute. So we're going to get Sweden and the Netherlands both as defensive allies. We also can get Bavaria as a defensive ally as well. We're going to rival the Ottomans because I do want to take their subjects later. And it'd be really nice to improve relations with Britain so Britain doesn't try to cave our skulls in. We're also going to get two Sicilies as a friend as well, because I'd very much like it if they were on our side and not against us. They're already in the Metternich system as well, so having that alliance is good to keep them in. And then I think the last thing I wanted to do, if terms allow it... Yeah, see, this is exactly what I was hoping for, so we'll just wait a moment. So all of those treaties just fired, and now you can see we have a lot of good friends who are willing to come to our aid if anything happens. Which is actually going to help a bit with reducing the Liberty Desire here, because now we've capped out the Alliance's Defense Pax bonus. And what I want to do next, although Britain might come to stop us, we'll see if they do. What I want to do next is simply make sure the Pope is our friend and no one else's friend. The Pope is only allowed to be our friend, no one else's. I do see two Sicilies joined, or not two Sicilies, Sardinia, Piedmont joined against us. We're just going to kind of hold and wait on that one a bit. Until we're near our cap point, which we're about to be. Or near the end of the diplomatic maneuvers. I haven't streamed in weeks, so we're just fibbing this as we go. Because what we could do, it's a risk, it does add a lot of infamy, but we could make Sardinia, Piedmont a subject too. But let's... How much do we have? Let's call Russia in first. That way, in case someone does align against us, Russia will just beat them to a pulp. But we've waited long enough to where some people have left as well. We don't need Russia to win this war. We're just making sure that we won't get killed in the background while we play. We also do need to suppress the German national movement because that is considered a liberal movement. But otherwise, we're just gonna do our usual service tax without increasing. I don't want to increase the regular taxation system right now because that's just gonna cause our already low standard of living to drop below minimum expected, and then we're just gonna have hell in a handbasket very quickly. It's not very fun when that happens. I do see the investment pool is already building railways, which we'll just start subsidizing, and then hopefully they'll figure out what motors are. We're much too busy ruling an empire to know what a motor is. We're too busy being short of iron and tools, you know? Like, I don't have time to figure out what iron and coal are. I'm too busy waging a war in Italy. So we're at the end of 36. The aristocrats want agrarianism, which I don't want. The Brazilians want to be friends, which is an unexpected surprise. Anyway, I mentioned that we were going to drop them all and annex them. Let me see if... Okay, yeah, Transylvania's met it. So what we do now, it's kind of obvious once you realize it. We actually can't do it because we're at war, so I'm sorry, but it will be 1837. But we're just going to grant them a couple of states, and that's going to drop their liberty desire below 25, which we then just use to automatically annex them. So for Croatia, over here, Croatia, Slavonia, I just call it Croatia for short. We just need to give them one state and they drop below 25. You will have to reincorporate these states after annexing them, so there is a downside to doing this maneuver. And Hungary usually takes 2 states. But the bright side about doing this is that you're able to just annex them this early on and boom, done. They have all been annexed. This is going to mess our income tax up for a solid decade, which is a bit of a problem. But we are rewarded with the fact that we no longer have to worry about revolting Hungarians with an army. Because now their army just serves us. Until they get upset enough and revolt anyway, but, well. I figure we cross that bridge when we get to it. Just gonna change all these over here. We can get a bit of bureaucracy going. I just don't want to switch too much because financially speaking, we're already in the gutter. Consumption taxes do affect standard of living. That is true. I'm just not raising to high and very high taxes because those tend to increase your minimum expected. And that's been kind of the pitfall trap lately for a lot of things. I also noticed we haven't gotten the event to change this yet. I assume that's because we were in the middle of a war, but we'll see. Ah, there it is, the minor coup. I was waiting for this. Because if we take this one, it's only minus 5% enactment success chance. But if you take the one that buffs the intelligentsia, it actually makes your enactment success chance minus 15%, which is really awful. Because then you really can't enact things because you don't really have the success chance. It's really, really bad, and I don't like it. Because now we have very little success chance to enact a couple of items. Which isn't great, but, you know, it exists now at least. So I really wasn't going to embrace the church, but I do kind of favor the birth rate. Now that we can actually enact laws, we can actually decide if we want to do that or not. But we really need iron tools and all that good stuff. Speaking of tools, let's actually bump up and make 2 tool workshops. Or at least 1 while we're making the iron mines. I'm just trying to get Britain to not dislike us here so they don't oppose our actions later. So our power block cohesion's not bad. We have some upset subjects. But we should be able to get the 4 subjects we need for the Metternich System later. Since our overtures with... Oh, right, yes. We might want to use the interest system. I did fail to remember that, didn't I? Let's get a couple of those going here. Yeah, we did already give them the right to make livestock ranches. We can just also give them a monopoly right to them if we really want to. Which we're going to debate on. We'll debate on that. You know what? I'm actually willing to embrace the idea of state religion. My only concern is that if we do it right now... How many Protestants do we have? Actually, not as many as I thought. We're mostly Catholic, right? Yeah, no, we're actually more Catholic than I suspected. Okay, we could do that then. Perhaps. I've been embracing the church way too often lately. I've been trying to kind of wean myself off it and not embrace the church too much. Hey, it's been a bit too much church maxing here. I mean, we could compromise. We could go state religion, but keep the women's rights to everything. It does mean more clergymen, but I suppose that doesn't matter too much. It just means less academics. Really kind of depends on what we're aiming for in the late game. Why not? Unified religion's always fun. Worst case scenario, we just get a few extra pops for a couple of months. We have very little taxation right now, which is not great. Oh, I want to raise taxes so much. The US hates us? Okay. I wasn't planning to make the US an enemy, but apparently the US has decided that we will be an enemy. So, that's always fun. Yeah, as I thought, paper's going to be super expensive already. It isn't surprising considering all the states we're incorporating, and it is going to take... Oh, right. with the changes they made, these are no longer 10 years time to incorporate. They're closer to 13 years to incorporate now. Which kind of hurts, but oh well. We'll live with it. Might actually let the private investment pool take over more later on. But for now, I think for the next couple of years, we just coast along because the economy will not do well for a very long time here. I think even our taxation systems aren't doing great, but it's mostly just we can't tax these areas because they're not incorporated. Which is the downside of what we're doing, but not every strategy is just benefits. There's going to be some problems with every strategy. Ooh. Let's see. I don't know if I really don't. Yeah, no, actually, I really don't want the 14 infamy just to nerf the Ottomans right now. We're already at 40 infamy. Really don't need that. I'd rather let that cool down so we can steal some Ottoman subjects later. Okay, there's the first change of things we need, which is to make the economy better. And I want pharmaceuticals next, since we can use the public health system to improve our subjects' lives a little. Yeah, paper company might be another one we look into. I am seriously debating on that. Actually, yeah, you know what? We're gonna rush the joint stock company and pharmaceuticals just because we might want the second company sooner rather than later. And we're definitely way too in deficit when it comes to tools. Apparently coal as well, but I'm not too surprised about coal. Private investments using haptic construction at least. We got that going for us. We've even bought some of the livestock ranches already. Sweet. We'll have to improve those once we have tools again. There's no seriously damaging political movement yet, but I kind of want to suppress the Polish anyway because they tend to cause that revolt in Russia. I'm not sure yet. We might just withhold our authority and sit on it for now. Okay, so the Netherlands is being attacked. We actually could have asked the Netherlands to give us a subject in return for joining them, apparently. Oh, well. I love that. So we passed state religion and made the industrialists exist. I don't think there's a correlation there, but I find it very amusing. Maybe only slightly amusing. There's nothing we can really get out of this that's worth the infamy, I think. Yeah, no, I think we'll just honor the defense pact with the Netherlands just to keep them on our side, but we're not going to actually do much of anything this war. Just because there's not much value out of it for us. We're more so doing this to keep them with us. Although I suppose we could spare a few troops to defend their coastline. But no more than that. Just so the Spanish can't do anything. I guess we could double tap and switch to religious schools. National Guard could be useful, but I think we're gonna need secret police for the springtime of the people situation. Just because of the severity that tends to undergo. You know, we might go for broke and just go for religious schools as well, actually. Partially to keep the church happy, but we may also just go for broke and convert faster, too. That way we have less Protestant problems later on. Hey, Sharky Boy, welcome. We're playing as Austria for fun. And we're going to see how terrible it goes. Yeah, I might do Austrian paper second. I really do like craft paper. You know what? Yeah, we're just gonna say to hell with it and do it. We'll even give them a monopoly on paper because paper's not expensive enough for the government. They have to have a monopoly on it, right? We can actually use sulfur as well, so we may want to switch over to that real quick. Once paper prices come down, we should be able to produce better without worrying. And honestly, I think a lot of it is just we need to switch over to sulfite pulping, where we're using sulfur. Oh, Spanish invasion against us. Good thing you don't have to mobilize the army anymore. Actually, wait, hang on. I was gonna say, I don't think we need to mobilize the army anymore, but they've actually occupied two states. Never mind. You do still need to mobilize the army. Disregard what I was thinking there. Silly Spanish. I mean, I guess we should have expected this invasion, but you know what they say about the Spanish Inquisition. So we kind of annexed them at the end of 1836, the very beginning of 1837, Sharky, by just knocking all their liberty desire down. We kind of gave up the Galician area, so we're having to incorporate that and everything else. It's going to be another 10 to 11 years before we're getting full tax from it, so our budget is really bad. But we kind of cheesed the system, so to speak. Not kind of, we did cheese it. Excessively, I might add. I really can't take more bureaucratic costs right now. Even if it makes the schools fail. For now, we're just building up the areas that are still incorporated, at least. Because we need coal, we need iron, we need tools, and we have none of the following. The liberal movement's staying relevant thanks to this new agitator. God, I mean, I kind of want to exile him, but I kind of want to save it, too. Oh, no, you know what? He's a ruthless social bandit that's going to make them militant, so, yeah. Let's just nip that in the butt right now. He's too risky to keep around. You could say he's too threatening to be kept alive. Oh, is it near equal? That's unfortunate. I know OBS updated recently, so it could be that. Let me just kind of knock everything down by a 10%. There we go. Maybe that does it a bit better now. And thank you for letting me know. I swear this game. It just gave us another agitator for the liberal movement right after we banned one. But this guy doesn't increase their activism, so it's okay. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, if there's ever an issue with a game audio, do let me know. I'd like to make this as enjoyable of an experience as I can. We dropped it all by 10, but I can drop it again if I need to. Thank you, Sharky. I seriously appreciate feedback like that, because then I can make it a bit more enjoyable. Anyway, the Ottomans are about to be invaded by Russia and Egypt, so this is a even though it's maybe a bit sooner with the infamy than I'd like, it is a fantastic opportunity to try to steal one or two subjects from them. There's the Hungry 40s event, which I was a little worried about. But it's okay. I am noticing slight game lag. I hope that is not my PC deciding to give out. Could actually be Chrome being an issue, because I've noticed I have some issues whenever Chrome's open. But I have it open for the stream. I kind of wanted to seize Wallachia as well, but we're not gonna overstep our boundaries here. Primarily because I don't want to go over 50 infamy this early on when we're already having unstable economics. Yeah, the OBS side, I could probably drop it by 2 decibels, and we'll just see how that is. I just did that. We can force a compromise. We'll probably take Bosnia the next time, but for now, we're just gonna steal one of the 2 subjects so that Russia can't steal it. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, guess what just showed up? It's the radical movement, and guess what loves to get militant immediately? Ah, springtime. This is gonna be a pain. Because now that means every movement is going to get a bolster. Yeah. Yep, okay, here we go. This is like the most painful part. We'll have to throw the radical movement a bone somewhere, or else we're gonna have a problem. They are upset because we just changed from public schools to religious schools, which isn't great. We could probably get off the guild system, even though it benefits shopkeepers. We could just give them the guild system, maybe. I don't know. I'd love to change the tax system. No world conquest, but we're trying to go neo-absolutist, kind of fulfill the Age of Metternich journal entry, embrace like full Catholicism, but also give women lots of rights. I also forgot about the mandate that we got earlier. Oops. Honestly, just food standardization for now, so we can get to the mortality. But also, that will technically make our subsistence farms better, which, if you remember, those give us state construction efficiency, but it might also make the peasants less poor. Yeah, it made the peasants less poor, so that's gonna be good. Okay, the radical movement's getting its support. So we'll just see how this goes, chat. See, we might have to do something with the agitator in 10 months. Guild system with combination acts, just keep the trade union down, yeah. Unless we can convince them to be more supportive. Man, but to give you an idea how dangerous springtime is, we're on normal taxes, and both the liberal movement and the radicals are getting ready to cave our skull in. I need to see how much paper would it take if we switched now. 281. We have plenty of paper. That way we don't have a bureaucratic deficit anymore. We're just kind of waiting for the Ottomans to give up. Now, I don't mind letting the contagion of the revolution spread, mostly because it's just free IG support points and it makes other neighbors unstable, which is great for us. I'm also letting the private pool take over construction temporarily just because of our costs. Okay, there we go. The Ottomans gave up. So we'll just demobilize most of the army right now to save on costs. Yeah, the Polish are only hitting protesting, which is okay. And, like, that's okay for now. Trying to think of what else we could do here to balance things out. Hey, Paper's doing great at least. Hi, Andar. I might mispronounce your name a little. I have not streamed in weeks. I've been struggling with content creation lately, actually, and just been focusing on work. But now that Europa Universalis 5 is around the corner and coming out soon, I'm starting to get excited to just make things again. And I don't like how bad our debt's getting, though. Interest is already at 25k. You know, we could actually just let the private investment pool take over all construction. I'm just worried that it wouldn't be as focused as I'd like it to be. But I think we'll actually go ahead and let them take over completely, and we can just build... Oh, Scandinavian Revolution. That's fun. Sorry, I've got to game the game a little. Because we have a defense pact with Sweden, but we're just going to sign on to back up Belgium sides with Sweden. Oh, the Netherlands actually joined the radicals. Ah, that's interesting. Okay. So we'll probably lose the defense pact then, but we have a... This won't hurt us, chat, because we have a defense pact with Sweden as well, so we're obligated to come to Sweden's defense. If the Netherlands is backing an aggressor, then that's not our problem. So we're just going to make peace with Spain at this point, in that case. And I just did it to get the free obligation. If we lose one ally in favor of another ally, that's whatever. Oh shoot, Bulgaria exists already. Cool. That's actually pretty early. Oh, the Netherlands abandoned them. Excellent. I see that the investment pool's been keeping up the current construction so far, so we're just going to add more construction and let them kind of handle it. Yeah, the extra papercraft will be really nice. I'll very much enjoy that. We can also go ahead and actually make some of the protectorates into puppets now. They're not going to be happy about it, but it means we get more money, and more importantly, we can use them for more expansionism. Because we do have a goal to get 12 members, and right now we're at 9. But the funny thing is, if you look at the map chat, pretty much everyone on the Italian peninsula, except Lucca, is in the Metternich system. And getting the papacy as our subject is good because it made it a bit easier to border 2 Sicilies. The problem is that they have a lot of deals with Russia, which are counterbalancing our influence too much. So what we might do is ask for our own investment rights here, just to counterbalance that a little more, which isn't going to do too much, but, well, except we have no influence. Yes. You know, the US did rival us, so we could at least rival them back. It's the least we could do to pay them back, you know? The least we can do. And I think, yeah, if we just keep riding on our investment pool here, we can keep construction going to some extent. It's just half the construction is our company investing into more buildings for itself, so whether this is good or not is very much up for debate, but it is working. And now we can work on public health care, which the church will support, which is very nice. Ah, there it is. I forgot to pay attention for the Civil War. But we're not going to give in. Now, the Metternich journal entry does not fail immediately. It requires some progress to occur. And what we're going to have to do here is not pass healthcare. Then we have to do something that they want. But we're going to kind of pseudo-pass it, just to keep them appeased for a while. Like, honestly, we could pretend to pass the National Guard. That at least knocks them down a fair bit. I still think we want secret police just to keep things suppressed, but National Guard won't really upset too many folks. It'll keep them appeased for a bit while we try to put down springtime here. Although, I don't know if we can because we have a radical somewhere. I know it's an agitator, but I think... Yeah, the trade unions have a radical, so... We're just kind of writing springtime's timer out normally instead, which is not great, but there's not much you can do about it. Ah, nationalism. What could go wrong with that? When has nationalism caused any problems in the Austrian state? I can't imagine a time when it's caused problems. Might actually get central banking this early. Actually, I have a better idea. I'd like to get canneries so we can just make more meat production. That would go swimmingly. I also just realized we were making iron tools this whole time and not using steel. Because we don't have steel. Yes, you know what? I actually forgot Austria does not start with any steel mills. I genuinely forgot about that. I really wish I hadn't forgot about that. So let's get a few steel mills going really quick, and then we can solve the tool problem with ease. We'd solve the iron problem too, actually, at that point. Oh. Well, that's no good. I just realized documents over people is gonna give them more attraction and activism, but if I didn't do it, they were gonna get more activism anyway. Ah. Oh well. Ah. Poland, Krakow's doing the fun button thing where they make things bad for you. Oh, you know, Serbia would go nicely. So I know we're in debt and everything, and I talked about, you know, making things of sound budget. But the Ottomans started a war, and, you know, I can't very well ignore that. It's free land for us, chat. We gotta go take it. At least while it... If we end up passing National Guard, I think that would be fine, actually. We could use the National Guard. A neighboring country has an insurrectionary radical movement now, though, which is not good. Definitely anything but good. Yeah, it looks like National Guard is just straight up pass. I mean, we could use it in the end. It's just surprisingly quick. Oh, right, because springtime. Yeah. Forgot about that. That's how springtime works. Yep, already passed. Which means we have to give the radical movement something else already, or else they're just gonna... they're just gonna kill us. It is weird that the radical movement supports the combination acts. I do think that's a little strange. We do need to fertilize our own farms, yeah. I guess, yeah, we can go the combination acts to keep the trade union down for a while. Not that it's great for the radicals from political movements, but oh well. You know what? If the radical movement supports this in the end, who are we to question? I think they just don't want the guild system, and to be fair, the guild system is causing a 30% reduction of qualifications for us, which is not the best option. But I think it's something we can deal with. Now that we have steel and it's been a month where they should be up and running, we can actually switch over to making steel-based tools. Okay, so we're not making as much steel as I thought. It's not ready. Might actually need 2 more steel mills at that rate. Ooh, did we miss a chance? I think we missed a chance to make Bavaria our subject. The radical revolt started. Yeah, we could have made Bavaria our subject, chat. Darn. Instead, we have to just respond as their ally. But I think it's fine regardless. You know, just keep... Oh, wait. The French have joined this? Man, I wasn't expecting the French to be in this. The good news is that the Ottoman army is pretty much beaten already. What do they need, actually? Who is fighting for independence? Oh, Egypt is in this and fighting for independence, I see. Maybe we can expedite that. Maybe to be safe, we'll pull up some conscripts as well, so the French don't just kick our door down while we're distracted. Because I could see the French doing that to us, just kicking the door in. We'll keep our Bavarian friends safe. Don't you worry, chat. Wow, that's a lot of money for the investment pool. Oh, right, because our economy is just still bad, so we get the ×2 multiplier. 3 cheers to having a weak economy, right? Oh, we've got the gourmet groceries progressing as well now. Not that we're getting a lot of pops because our pop growth is terrible, but yeah. There we go, we're above 1% now. We can have more pops that we don't know what to do with. I'd like you to... I can't assign the target. Okay. Okay, so the French have sent most of their troops up here, I've noticed. Yeah. What? Okay. Oh, hey, chat, the music... Hi, Aether, the music you're hearing right now is actually one of the new DLC musics for Songs of the Homeland. So that's pretty nice. We're actually gonna just deviate again and call up more conscripts because the French are pushing into Bavaria proper, and that's where most of their troops are going. We killed enough of the Ottoman forces to where the Egyptians should have it handled by themselves. Ah! There we go, chat. We've vanquished the revolution. Actually, this is fantastic, chat. So we bribed the radicals by passing National Guard, but now that they've been vanquished, we're going to reenact secret police immediately. We basically tricked the revolution until we could put it down. So in the end, we gave them nothing, and we're gonna pass the combination act with help. Oh, that's fantastic. Now, they are going back up to protesting because of, you know, religious schools still passed and we don't have National Guard anymore. But it's not to the same strength that it was earlier, where it had a real risk of just going to civil war. Now, as long as we can maintain the new loyalists that we just gained, we should be okay. But that means I can't raise taxes or else we sink. Okay, let's go push the Ottomans' teeth in now. Now that France is no longer a problem for us, I don't want to let Egypt build into me, but I am very happy to sign all of this with them. 219. Could I get a treaty port at that point? Not quite, but it's kind of frightening how... Hey, chat. Should we get a treaty port in Crete? Ooh, the new... I actually don't own many of the DLC for CK3, so I don't know if I'd be able to play much of it. But it does look like a fun little DLC. Ooh. What has the most pops? And are the Egyptians taking anything? No. Okay, because what I'm thinking, we could get a treaty port in Aleppo, chat, in Egypt. Oh god, you know what? That sounds really funny. Hang on, that does sound way too funny. That puts us at what, minus 28? Minus 18. Maybe they have goods that they want to sell. We could abuse that too. Or something of the like. It's just a really funny idea of having a treaty port in Egypt. It's not a very profitable idea. It's just really funny to me. And I like doing stupid fun things. We could just give them an obligation, I guess. Yeah. And then just swear to not subvention certain items. Like, I'm not going to subvention fabric anyway. So I can just agree to that. I don't want to tariff fabric either, so... Neither of those really bother us. It's the only good they really kind of care about, huh? It's just fabric. That's an 85% chance. Hey, they agreed. Welcome to the Aleppo Treaty Port. We just got a treaty port by signing for it. Hey, look, there's 1,000 South Germans here. That's great. I don't know if we can convert people here while it's a treaty port. I don't think we can. Pretty sure we can't. But that's really funny to me. Because now it means we board them, but we also get a lot of leverage over them from the treaty port. And the fact, again, that we're bordering them. Okay, we're just deficit spending again now that construction's a bit higher. But also, because it looks like we can afford it, the states are partially incorporated. We'll see if it works for us. Also, Wallachia is kind of devastated at this point. I kind of feel bad for them, but blame the Ottomans, not me. There we go. Montenegro now actually owns all of Montenegro. Egypt is now completely independent. We got a treaty port in Egypt, but we also got another subject. So... Oh, that is not the Age of Metternich journal entry. Getting all the liberal movements to be marginalized is going to be a little difficult. We need fine art. We need to annex Krakow at some point, but... We'll get around to the Krakow part when we get to it. We'll eventually get to it. Serbia supporting separatism. We can always just go knock them down then, I guess. Yeah, the combination acts are in effect now, so... The trade union are probably just never going to exist for the first half of the century of our gameplay. No trade center here. Not really surprised. I just thought a 25-year treaty port would be funny. It's not productive. A productive treaty port would be a treaty port in Qing, for example, but I probably want to wait until after the Heavenly Kingdom revolt. Unless it looks like they've kind of gotten through it already. Otherwise, there's a very high chance we'll just lose the treaty port to the revolt, and then I'll be very sad. There's craft paper done. Where is our craft paper mill, actually? Wow, they own 54 already? I know some of that's our logging camps, because why not? Free logging. But at this point, we could actually consider a serious investment into exporting paper. We just gained several bureaucracy points, so we can actually invest into education, too. Finally, the peasants will learn how to read and worship their god emperor. This isn't 40k, but I've been playing Rogue Trader lately, so it may as well be in my heart. Now we can actually go for public health care this time. No, I probably won't do people advantage laws in any runs, because honestly, I feel like just deleting pops from existence doesn't really help your game in the long run. It can be funny, but more pops means more production, so... Yeah, I'll just take the expense to get public health care passed. Honestly, when we get tax transportation, at least it looks pretty close to make up for the deficit. We get these incorporated in 4 years, which is good. We're working on getting our leadership in the liberal arts done. We have 10 of 12 members. Ooh! Could Sweden get rid of 10 infamy for us? We're at 23. Yes! Sweden accepted the suggestion. We now have 10 less infamy. Sure, we actually do... Oh, the company... You want to start the company HQs. You know what? Sure, I can do that for you. Just put them below buildings, but... Here, we'll do this for you. We'll hide the companies and keep their HQs open instead. That way you can get a kind of a better overview. Let's just focus on establishing healthcare. It's not for the poor, anyway. The companies already give us the most money, followed by all the iron mines we own. Speaking of which, I am actually going to let the various iron mines be bought up now. That would probably be a better idea. Just to feed the investment pool, but also to get us some quick revenue. In saying that, I really should just privatize a lot of our buildings. Because we're not really trying to go for the state owns all the buildings kind of goal. Although that could be fun too. But that would probably just slow down our economy. Because of all the money debt that we have. Let's see. Is Two Sicily still gonna stick with us? Probably not. Actually, if I could invest in them, that'd be great. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Anyone defend you? No. Alright. Yeah, the American run could have... Oh, yeah, I guess we could unstart the company outlier, too. Sorry, I've got the chat on the phone, so it's just kind of in a weird spot. I have to keep glancing down every 5 minutes to take a look. Oh! Yeah, I noticed Bohemia had a flood earlier. It looks like it crippled the food industry here, but the flood just ended, so hopefully that means we'll be okay. I think so. It's a lot more. It's hiring people and it's more productive. It'll probably be fine. Let's actually focus on getting our tax base up and running now, because aside from Bohemia, there are a few states that are not doing full taxes. Now, some of these are not fully incorporated yet, but they're nearing their incorporation. They're getting to around 70%. So at this point, we can collect most of the money for them. And probably would prefer to actually collect money now. I'm going to gear up to invade Bulgaria soon, but we'll take Switzerland here. What did France do? Well, I guess we got to keep an eye out for France. Apparently, they're going on a rampage. They really beat up the Spanish. And now I'm a little curious if they've done anything else. I don't think so. Not yet, at least. The French. The good news, though, is that this made France an enemy out of just about everyone. So France is now unlikely to come to someone's defense because everyone hates them and vice versa. They all hate each other now, which is great for us. Just hire some of them and get them out of the way first. Oh, no, you know how I said France won't come to their aid? France actually came to Switzerland's aid. So we will take this as an opportunity to call in the Russians. Just because that'll make sure the French and the Russians stay as enemies, but I actually kind of want to call the Prussians in too. I don't want to give them an obligation though, that's just too much. That would be going a bit too far now, come on. Do we want anything from the French that we can afford? Not money. What do we want anything from the French, chat, within reason? And when I say within reason, I mean it doesn't spike our infamy too much. Oh, you know, we could be funny and seize Corsica. Like, we could do the Liberate for Occitania just to break the French up, because obviously they're a threat to the Austrian Empire. But we could also seize Corsica. Yeah, I think letting Sardinia, Piedmont seize Corsica would be funny. And then we'll also liberate Occitania. And that will cripple the French before they can be a severe issue. I really don't want the border crossing with the Ottomans right now, game. I don't know if the game's noticed, but I'm kind of about to be in an all-out confrontational war with the French. We probably should call it conscript while we're at it. Not that I have much of a navy to keep the island of Corsica on our side, but oh well. At this point, we may as well rival them. Switzerland back down. You know what? I'll take it because I wasn't 100% certain we could win that war. But I will take it because I think it also... Yes. Russia wants to reconcile, but France hates Russia now. Or at least what already did hate Russia, so we've at least partially ensured that they won't be friendly with one another. It's not a perfect insurance, but it is enough for us to work with. For the time being, at least. I think without Krakow, that puts us at 10 members, but we're at 11 right now. Let's, if we can, actually. Who might join Krakow? The United States? Yeah. I mean, I can wait another year to see if I can get them to be friendly again. Just let the infamy drop a bit. I know, we're doing pretty good so far in that regard. We're just having to really coast along with the investment pool here and let the investment pool do a lot of our construction. So we couldn't liberate Occitania or Corsica since Switzerland backed down. But honestly, I still think this is a favorable outcome for us. Also, once again, we earned a mandate some time ago, and once again, I didn't even notice. I'm not paying attention to the mandates at all this game. We can also go ahead and get canned meat now, which I know is going to raise food prices, but don't worry, it'll be fine. It'll also have more iron demand, which I think is fantastic. What could go wrong with more iron demand, chat? Absolutely nothing could go wrong. Everyone needs iron in their diet anyway, right? Yeah, the next time we're at war with France, we'll look to liberate Occitania, but transfer Corsica to our Sardinian bit, because that would favor us in the long run. Need to get some universities going as well afterwards. I know we're running a bit of a deficit here, but we're not running too bad of a deficit. As long as we keep allowing the investment pool to do a lot of construction and privatization, honestly, we shouldn't have much issue. Exile at the gates. Catholic Church is powerful. A Democrat. No thanks. I can see where that leads. I'd rather not. This is fine though. Making the Ottomans an enemy. I don't mind making the Ottomans an enemy. We've already beaten up the Ottomans in at least 2 different wars for their stuff. What's one more? So now the great question is, do we want to go towards mutual funds with central banking, or do we go for more production methods? Honestly, I think we're going to grab central banking here, just to drop the loan interest rate a little, since loans are 42k now. And squeeze out a few thousand from minting. At least grab that so our financial situation's a bit more stable. Stable-ish. I think I forgot to set the livestock ranches to be privatized, yeah. We don't have a lot of fertilizer, but I can set the rye farms to it at least. I think this is all coming from our, yeah, all of it's coming from our livestock ranches. And actually, let me get level 3 food standardization. We'll get that +1 standard of living to cooperate with our public health care. So that's going to bump everyone up a standard of living to 9.3. It's going to get us more pops. But more importantly, it's going to prevent anyone from radicalizing. Honestly, I don't want to raise taxes, but I don't think that'd be a good idea in the long run. How are the political movements doing? The liberals are at 5%. They're dropping to 2%. The radical movement's gone. The German national movement is also gone, chat. We've actually really suppressed the national movements here. We could bolster the absolutist movement too, which I think for our circumstances fits the narrative quite well. I think it fits our narrative very well with our neo-absolutist focus. And now Bulgaria. 2 Sicilies could join against us, but it looks like we should be fine. But just in case, we'll improve relations with 2 Sicilies to keep them on our side. Serbia joining is not exactly within my cards, but I'm not upset about it. I did notice that Russia was leaning towards joining Bulgaria, so I just used our alliance real quick to gank them in. Because that would have been really disastrous otherwise. So Serbia is technically a subject of the Ottomans right now, so I can't really do anything to them. What do you mean the Egyptians don't have ships? What are they doing down here? Why do they have no market access? Egypt, oh, Egypt's at war, okay. I was gonna say, why does Egypt not have any ships? It's because apparently Egypt has incurred the wrath of Great Britain and is being destroyed for it. Like, Britain wants Lower Egypt, so Britain's trying to seize it. Is anyone helping the Egyptians? No, it's just the Egyptians on their own, chat. They have no help. They have no aid. It's just them. Because we have the treaty port in Egypt and therefore have highly discriminated pops who are heavily discriminated against, we managed to roll the Forbidden Love event that gives us an enlightened royalist. the moderate gentleman who's supposed to take over in the next few years or less can now be an enlightened royalist. Oh, that's too good. Oh, that's that's too good. You bet we're taking it. This guy again? That's the second time he's tried to join now. It's the second time that guy's tried to join us. I mean, good for him on having effort, but we're not going to accept him in Austria anytime soon. Trying to see where some of our unemployed are, and I'm just spreading out the iron mines there to minimize the unemployed. That way they don't sit there and just radicalize indefinitely and then issues afterwards. Because knowing my luck, that's exactly what's going to happen if we don't do anything about it. Okay, 8 legacy points. We need a member and West Galicia. Well, Bulgaria gives us a member, but taking Krakow takes a member back, so we're kind of on the membership until we get someone else. Ooh, yes, let's start using it. You know what? Everyone likes lead. Who doesn't like lead? We'll definitely have more lead in our economy. Alright, Bulgaria has fallen to the Habsburg army. We probably won't do devout only for the military's IG leaders because we're going to lean towards the bourgeoisie and maybe the Austrian aristocracy for the Neo-Absolutism. Otherwise, we could have trouble later. You know, chat, if I remember correctly, Montenegro's journal entry only fails if the Ottomans make them a subject. You know, I don't recall it saying anything about being an Austrian subject. You know? I don't recall anything about it being an Austrian subject. But, you know, there you go. I did just hire a devout leader, so you can get that at least. Look, the church gets some handouts, but we're not going to give the church control over everything this time. Not this time. Maybe another game. Speaking of which, where are our bourgeoisie? Why have they got very weak? Oh, I guess we did rip out the shopkeeper bonus from them. That is true. Oh man, the Ottomans are at it again, chat. They're invading the Egyptians again. Oh, and the Egyptians would almost become our subject. Almost, but they really don't have a good desire for it because they're cautious. Which is a little unfortunate. Actually, wow, Egypt's holding off the British? Wait, Egypt's holding off the British in the 1840s? How? How? I have so many questions. They don't even have enough guns. They have a shortage of guns. How are the British losing? I don't understand. Okay, well, in that case, we'll use this as a free opportunity just to grab Serbia. It'll keep us below infamy still, so I don't mind too much. We can upgrade to skirmish infantry, but I'm kind of holding off on that for now. One, because it's really expensive. Two, the Prussians haven't broken the treaty with us yet, so... Oh, I assigned that to the wrong front. That's my bad. But now that we have enough members, we'll annex Krakow after our conflict with the Ottomans. That being said, I do need to send some of the army overseas to prevent the Egyptians from just collapsing. Hey, blessed are the meek. Or so the church is saying. I don't know. I'm just following their holy orders. Nothing like good deficit spending, chat. Oh, yeah, we could get more bourgeoisie leaders. I don't mind that. Because that does fall a bit into our Neo-Absolutist run. We could definitely do that. Alright, Switzerland is now a as well. It'd be funny if making protectorates downgrade made them into crown lands instead, but the only way to get crown lands is Austria has to release subjects. Or to release territory as new subjects, I should specify. All right, well, in 2 years, we will have another company slot, so that's looking really good. Central banking will slightly drop interest by about 5K. That's good. 5K is good. I kind of want postal savings next. But we actually could grab chemical bleaching. We will have to import dye for the paper, though, which isn't the grandest idea, but I see we're exporting paper, so maybe we can specialize that and just... Oh, no, the Egyptians lost! Oh, you know what happened? It's because the Egyptians had to redeploy their army to fight the Ottomans. It gave Britain the opening to land into Egypt. That's unfortunate. But it happens. Yeah, the only issue is that not a lot of bourgeoisie leaders are spawning right now because the bourgeoisie don't even exist. They can still spawn, it's just really unlikely in the current circumstance. Okay, the Ottomans are just back a bit because we're busy invading Serbia, but it's not a situation where the Ottomans have strength to beat us. We just didn't deploy our troops there. Also, I can't help but notice that even though it's my stream, whenever I look down at my phone, I sometimes get random ads that completely block the chat window, and then I can't see chat for like a solid 10 seconds until I clear it manually. Thanks, YouTube. I love being the ability to read my own chat so I can see what they're saying and make them feel like they're a part of the stream instead of ignoring them. Yeah, you know, we could use oh, the Matter of Hungary finished. Sweet. Excellent. So the little bonus, not bonus, but the malice we had on the side for that is also gone now. Which should help prevent pops like the Hungarians from becoming radicalized later. I like that for us. That's very nice. I'm just improving relations with some of our subjects here and there so they don't get any ideas of betrayal later, you know? Can't have that happening. Just like that, Krakow agrees to that issue. And now, chat, we have fully completed the Age of Metternich journal entry. All that we're waiting for is for the current guy to peacefully retire. We could make him retire early, but let's see here. I mean, at the moment, we could probably do it because we have suppressed the liberal movement sufficiently. And the absolutist movement is getting a lot of support. Honestly, we could do it now and go for autocracy. This would force the bourgeoisie to reappear, which we could utilize. I'm surprised how strong the aristocracy is, actually. I know this is partially because the grocery company... where did all of your guys... Oh, okay, I see. That's still bugging, huh? Or is there just not enough, qualifications? Ah! There's basically no aristocrats here, I see. So it's struggling to hire aristocrats, which is then making it struggle... Okay, alright, well, that's fine. No, okay, so we're still having that weird bug, that higher fire bug that's occurring, where capitalists employed in the company headquarters will leave to join the financial districts. It's like really weird. I don't really understand what's going on there. Paradox still hasn't quite fixed that yet. It's a very strange bug. Because I'm pretty sure under normal circumstances it just shouldn't be happening in general. But it is happening, and it's happening fairly often, which is strange. But what do you all think? Should we have his abdication be enforced now? Because I know if we don't force the abdication and we just let it play, I don't know what the trigger condition is, but the Kaiser will sometimes just randomly abdicate himself, and it will actually add an additional point of progress to the Age of Metternich journal entry. But I don't know. Oh. Never mind. The game answered it for us. This is what I meant. He will choose to abdicate because of his declining health, and this will actually improve the effects of completing the journal entry. It will count it as if we completed one of these. So this will actually act as if we did 11. So we will need to go ahead and add the bourgeoisie to government, which is fine because we wanted them in anyway. And then the Age of Metternich will finish. But as you can see, chat, so, okay, so like things like the prestige and the Austrian aristocratic bonus, it's 3% per completed objective. We completed all 10 objectives. But since we also got the retirement event, it's counting it as if we got 11. I just took a screenshot of that because Metternich will be remembered as a figure to match Napoleon, claimed by every political current as one of their own. Oh, that 55% production research speed is vile. Oh, that is disgusting. And we get that for 10 years. That is, that is sickening. Our innovation isn't even capped out yet. Like I said, we get all those bonuses for 10 years. It doesn't even decay. The art academies have such a high throughput bonus now. I don't even know how they're gonna make enough art. Oh, that's crazy. I feel like that's silly, actually. So, to complete this, we have a couple of goals. First off, the economy needs to grow. That's simple. We need to finish 4 of these. So the economy needs to grow. We need to, I think we have to get all 3 of these done, or maybe each one counts as its own. I'm not sure. Marginalize the crownland diets, accept the papal concordat, and abolish feudal obligations. We don't have to do all of these. We just have to do most of these. Last time we played, the conditions were so terrible that we were getting like 5 constitutional pressure per month because of how much activism all the political movements had. This time we should be able to do it just fine. I have actually done this off camera once. I know that if you accept the papal concordat, this will force you to enact things such as religious schools and state religion if you haven't already enacted it. But since we already did it, it's just free. It's just free loyalists from our Catholic pops. We just need to get the papacy to like us, and that'll finish itself. We probably want to get rid of the crownland diets, but we could actually keep minoralism. I'm just debating on whether we want to or not. And then we also have the marginalization, which does require us to get off that same law, the crownland diets, which is a unique bureaucracy law. Still gives you aristocrats, but it doesn't give them as much strength by comparison. Hi! Sorry, one of the doggos are coming to say hello. Hi, how you doing? We probably want to get appointed bureaucrats at some point anyway. The hereditary bureaucrats are nice. There's nothing wrong with it, but appointed bureaucrats means the bureaucrats get more strength. And the Neo-Absolutism law plays pretty... Oh, this is the wrong page. Plays pretty strongly into bureaucrats because Neo-Absolutism will buff bureaucrats instead of aristocrats. So we'll probably start gearing towards them. We can also make some choices that will last I think it's 5 or 10 years. So those are fun. We can either just get more loyalists from political movements, which is nice, and the emperor gains popularity, or we can give bureaucrats more strength for a couple of years, because that's fun. We'll probably want more trade centers to export art, but I noticed, actually, you know what? Speaking of trade centers, we could just give one of the companies trade rights, and then they'll have exclusive trade. Funny idea, do we want to double down on the paper mills and just mass export craft paper? Because we're already exporting paper from multiple trade centers because of its profitability, and general early game demand for paper tends to exist on the global market, especially if it's easy to import for others. A shopkeeper company would be good, yeah. We're definitely thinking about that. I'm just trying to decide on Austrian paper right now. I mean, you know what? I say let's do that. Let's give them trade rights. That will pretty much self-solve trade centers for us. Because they're gonna, you know what? They're gonna buy up all the trade centers. We really should make sure they can actually buy up the trade centers then. Just to make sure in case the government owns any, which I don't think we do. I think it's all private. Yeah, it's all financial district stuff. Wait, what's going on? What are the Americans doing? Why? I don't understand. Why are the Americans... What is happening in this game? This makes no sense. I really don't understand what's going on. Britain just joined the Americans. Actually, unironically, Britain joining the Americans is fantastic because it means the Prussians will not be allies with the British. I kind of want to have investment rights in the British, but I see they're allied to the Americans, so that's not happening. We're just gonna kind of wait and see. Yeah, I thought that would happen. Yeah, I assumed they were gonna call us in, to be honest with you. We'll just play very defensively here. If we're lucky, the Russians will also join. Oh, good, the Russians did. The Treaty of the Holy Alliance is still in full effect, I see. Fantastic. We wouldn't want that to go awry now, would we? We don't really have a navy to land in the British, so I don't think we can get any war goals out of this. I really don't... I mean, I'd love to grab the Ionian Islands. That would be funny, but I think it's better to just play it safe and just focus on getting our infamy down for now, keep our stability up, and we'll just kind of let this happen in the background. We'll honor our treaty with Prussia for now, just to buy more time for ourselves to stabilize our situation. We have incorporated all of our states, good, because I'm trying to not do just conquer everything as usual run. We're actually trying to LARP it a little, just a little. But we will mobilize some of the armies. So we're not completely caught unawares. With Prussia and Russia both in the war, I'm thinking of just kind of letting them deal with the brunt of it. If they manage to land and actually win the war, that would be crazy, but I don't see that happening. I'm pretty sure what's more likely to happen is they're just gonna stalemate and get stuck. That's kind of how I foresee it going, at least. Oh man, our cohesion is really falling lately. Oh, because we added Serbia to the power block and Serbia hates our guts. Well, I mean, what can you do? Not everyone likes us. Oh, I forgot, if you change the Metternich system at all, the primary color takes over and suddenly it's just extremely black on the map. Well, at least it's a color, I guess. I don't know if Prussia or Russia can even financially take our debts. Putting aside the fact on whether if they want to, I don't know if they could take our debt. Yeah, they already have a massive negative to the idea because of the size. They physically cannot pay for our debts already. Because our debt is almost equal to Russian GDP and is greater than Prussian GDP. Which isn't saying much, but it does exist, so. Yeah, we're definitely going to be in a deficit for dye, which I don't mind. And actually, if we're going a bit on the trade route as well, hydraulic cranes would be fantastic. Not that I normally grab it, technologically speaking. I think in this case, we can actually grab it and just mass sell paper. It'll also make it easier to import dye on a larger scale, so there's two reasons for this. Speaking of which, yes, okay, I had to make sure we weren't putting a tariff on dye, because that would have been really stupid of us if we were. Imagine tariffing dye after needing to import it in en masse. That would just be really foolish. I'd love to get off of our land tax system, too. That would be a nice change. But for now, it's only a 3% success chance, but we'll try to start passing appointed bureaucrats. I don't think it'll go anywhere, personally speaking, but we're gonna at least try. Yes! We got at least one bourgeoisie to appear. I was gonna tick to the next week so they get the new clout bonus from it. But yeah, the Austrian aristocracy has so much clout that they're kind of taking up all the hiring appointments. Pretty much all of them, actually. So we'll probably be stuck with our debt, but the good news is our debt is just stable enough to where we're not actually drowning in it. Like, it's bad. I'm slower on my investment pool expansion because of it. But It's not a situation where we're just drowning and dying. Which is at least a step in the right direction. Try to make more of our subject happy here. Well, not happy, more like, no longer inconvenienced in being our subject. Okay, we actually have our innovation cap reached, so that's nice. We have a lot of authority now, actually, chat, because a lot of the movements have been suppressed. Yeah, that's really good, actually. That those movements don't really exist anymore. Honestly, we may as well tax coffee and fine art. Just put more tax on the upper strata. That way our lower strata doesn't completely go insane on us. We mentioned trade centers. How are those looking? Not too bad. Does Venice have... It does have trade capacity. Oh! Oh, if only the lagoon was a mappy station. That would be so good. Oh... I'd be all over that then if it was. Because otherwise the mappy areas are better, but we could still expand this a bit. Actually, what we really need to expand is merchant marines, because we do not have a lot of them. Are we importing these? I bet we're importing these. Not too many, actually. We import very little, but I'm just going to expand the port in Venice. Both the companies have over 100 buildings now, too, which is great. And we can now decide a third company. Well, presuming we actually have access to said company. I kind of want an iron and coal company, just because those are always good companies. We could get the furniture company that gives us more bourgeoisie pop attraction, but we already have logging camps being worked on, so that would kind of be a waste of a slot. We could be really funny and get the partial academic ownership. Because this literally means the company would be hiring academics. I just want to put that out there because I think that would be really silly. There's a couple other ones, but I don't think we have access to them yet. Oh, here's the Mavag one for the Hungarians. It has partial bureaucratic ownership, and that means a portion of the company's dividends will be sent to the government. So a portion of the dividends this makes would be sent straight to us. And bureaucrats do tend to support the bourgeoisie and the intelligentsia. But that would mean we can't go for the special engines. We'd be getting precision tools instead. So there's a secondary choice to be made there. I do agree on doing things that boost the bourgeoisie, though. Oh, that is partial bureaucrat ownership, too, really. Interesting. I did not know that. The Saxony company. The United Construction Conglomerate's partial bureaucrat, too. Honestly, really quickly, since we're talking about boosting the bourgeoisie, where do the academics lean? I know it's mainly the intelligentsia, but I know the richer they are, the more likely they support the bourgeoisie. So that is worth some consideration. I mean, they're both good companies is the problem. I just think if we're going for a furniture company, I probably want to pick... Just because it is better, I would probably want to take the home goods company, because then we can also boost lead and glass, all that stuff. I think mass-producing art is not a good idea for a company, but I think it would be very funny. I think it would be really funny. Especially because I want to see... What is partial academic ownership? Because I think this is the only company that gives partial academic ownership. It means it makes a bunch of academics who are getting company dividends. If the art academies are profitable at all, that is. We could also do the Mavag for the partial bureaucrat ownership. It does make cars later, too, and we can make precision tools. Precision tools aren't bad either. And bureaucrats do support the bourgeoisie. They support them more if it's under elected, but again, if their standard of living gets really high, their non-agricultural employment attraction will get higher for the bourgeoisie. So if If we just make the bureaucrats rich, they will support them a lot. Sure, Vincent. We could get the Art Academy later. Getting it now would probably be foolish. We just have to decide then, is 5% pop attraction strong or is it weak? That's all we have to decide now at this point is 5% pop attraction really strong or is it not that good? Because what that means is it's going to take whatever their current attraction is and increase it by 5%, which is, it's like this leader trait here that's doing minus 5%. Just for reference. That way you have an idea of how strong or weak it will be. That's the only reason why I'm hesitating on getting it specifically for the bourgeoisie is because it doesn't do that much on its own. And we don't really have a lot of stacking modifiers to add alongside it. Which is why I was thinking we could make more bureaucrats exist instead, because keep in mind, bureaucrats support the bourgeoisie, and the Neo-Absolutist law is going to boost bureaucrats. Like, it will boost them by 50% clout. Well, in the end, we could just grab both, honestly. You know what? We could just grab both. So how about that? We'll just grab both. We'll do the furniture company first, and then we'll go grab the other one. We won't give them logging camps, though, because there's no point. Logging camps are already being given to the paper company. Oh, right. I totally forgot we were going to continue the tradition of starring these. I don't do it often, so I was forgetting where it was. And look at that pop growth, 2.65%, and women still have the right to own property. See, we don't have to be monsters to grow the population. Oh, I was gonna say, oh no, Medina left our power block. I do not like how it is black color. I am sorry. I don't like that it's a black color, but there's nothing I can do about it, chat. We're just kind of stuck with it, I guess. Is this the harbinger of what's to come? Is this what the future brings for I'm sorry, I can't take it seriously. It's just foolishly funny to me. I would like to make the other Italian states our subjects, but short of them having a revolt, we're kind of just waiting for an opportunity. Because if we try to invade them, Russia's just going to come protect them, and then that's going to be a world of hurt for us. Having to fight Russia to subjugate the Italians is not in my interest right now. It sounds like an easy win, but we don't have skirmish deployed yet, and it would be very expensive. Yeah, the black blob of Neo-Absolutism. That does not do any credit, but it's, silly fun, I guess. There we go, appointed bureaucrats. So now we can take two actions. We can take the Papal Concord, accept the Papal Concordat, which we will do, and then we're going to marginalize the Crown Lands. This will upset the upper strata a bit, and it is actually going to weaken the aristocracy in the Catholic Church. But this is going to help us get to our goals of completing this. I think now we just need to grow the GDP because we already have all of these marked enough. And constitutional pressure is dropping really fast, actually, because of all of our loyalists. Because I think, yeah, we just gained 1.7 million loyalists from the Concordat. The little bar graph for that, for loyalists and radicals, is still broken sometimes, unfortunately. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it just doesn't. What production tech did we just get? Distillation. Free loyalists, easy. Pretty much. And I just built up the ports now to bring the merchant marine costs way down. That helps the trade centers be more profitable, so they should keep up their exports at least. Sorry, I double-clicked there. And we're importing a nice... We actually need to get off mercantilism for our trade advantage, because it is kind of messing our imports. It does help our exports a bit, though. In fact, we are basically the sole exporter of paper. So we have a monopoly on paper, which is pretty good. Apparently the British import about 24% of it, and they're pretty upset right now, which is a bit unfortunate, but what can you do? Oh, did they lose Schleswig? Yep. The United States managed to land on Schleswig. I don't think we can do anything to get it back because we don't have much of a navy, although in saying that, we're going to try to get a navy. but we'll see. We might not take a state from Prussia specifically, but we're probably going to use the war as a good distraction / excuse to beat up the Ottomans more. I know. We keep beating up the Ottomans, who apparently we have an obligation from, which I find to be hilarious. But I just find, oh, these darn ads. I just find the Ottomans easy to beat up, you know? They're so easy to beat up over and over again, repeatedly. I'd like to take Greece, but I'd actually need a navy first before we could do that. The one time I don't get a treaty port in Qing, and they don't appear to get the Heavenly Kingdom revolt yet. What is up with that? This game hates me and my treaty ports, I swear. I'm not allowed to have good treaty ports. I don't think are they just letting us take this? Wow. Well. We saved the Prussians from humiliation. Which I find funny because, oh dear. Yep, okay, so I thought again that if I just left the army here, it would defend it fine. No, they did land. Now that we just saved Schleswig, chat, they did land in Venice, so I'm just gonna capitulate right away because I don't know if you noticed, but Venice is a fifth of our economy. Wait. Chat, 15% of my entire GDP is paper. From Venice. We make 15% of our total GDP from Venetian paper. Which has temporarily suffered for 5 seconds because it was occupied, but it'll recover. Just give it a minute. Honestly, chat, for the next 7 years, we're just going to focus on production techs because we have a 55% bonus to research speed. There is no reason for us not to focus on production techs right now. It would be very foolish of us to do anything other than production because of that. They left that. They didn't want the state, right? They changed their mind. They actually don't want it. Could you take it off their hands, please? Yeah, the state is going to suffer temporarily here. Just from the extreme productivity loss. And I think it also murdered the trade center, didn't it? Yeah. Oh, man, Belgium's attacking the Netherlands now? What is going on? This is like a wild game. What is happening in Wait! They're trying to conquer each other. What is this game? I've never seen the AI be this aggressive in a long while. I've seen the AI be aggressive, but this is getting a little ridiculous. They're getting really aggressive with each other. I can't even take a war goal because the Netherlands is gonna take over everything. What is this AI aggression? Why is it not directed at me for once? I do not understand at all what is happening, but I am here for the ride. I don't understand, but I'm here for it. There's an Italian uprising in... Wait. Wait. What? I know this is because of the, I assume the Italian national movement. What is happening? Why is Sicily in revolt? What is this game? I love this. This is a great day to stream. Oh, -2? -2, you have to be kidding. What is their government makeup like? Okay, hang on. I just need to kick out. Give me a minute. Oh, it's still -2? Really? Is it a difference in leaders then? The -2 is gonna drive me insane. I want to make them a subject, and yet I can't. They're that close, and I still can't make it happen, chat. Okay, hang on. Is there anything I can do? They're already genial, so not really. And I think we've maxed out every potential bonus, too. The only thing is ideology and relations, but I think I've been boosting relations. Yeah, man. And Tuscany is being attacked by France. Wonderful. If I had an obligation, we could do something. But I don't. I'm trying to... There's nothing I can do to make them like me more, I don't think. Oh man, that really stings to see them that close. All right, well, we'll just help them against the uprising, I suppose. Tuscany is willing to become our subject, though, chat, and they did annex one of the two city-states. This does put us at war with France, but I am all for it. This is way too many wars at once. We will just start mobilizing all the conscripts again, though. And I think at this point, it's a risk, but we're going to upgrade to skirmish infantry because I'm scared of France, and I'm not going to lie about that. I'm genuinely scared of France. Please help. Is that another flood? Why is half the country flooding? And it's a 5.4 intensity, too. This game. I know we shouldn't put all of our eggs in one basket, and I'm trying not to, but it seems like the game wants to beat us over the head anyway. Doesn't matter where I put the eggs, it's gonna break them. Oh, the Taiping uprising in China actually happened, and Suzhou was taken as suspected. The French will probably push us. I am trying to upgrade them into skirmishers, and we'll just heavily import bullets in the hopes that we can make this work. Because I do think that, yeah, they are going to push us initially despite that. Have we not really conscripted everyone yet? I know we could make use of cannons, but I'm just going to go for mass conscription of skirmish infantry for the time being. Oh, wow. The French massacred our army already. Like, they massacred pretty much the entire army in the first fight. That is, heart-wrenching. That is, like, really unlucky that they managed to just obliterate the entire army in one go. I know the French have skirmishers, but you think we'd stand a fighting chance at least. Maybe we can slow them down, but I don't know. We lost a lot of people in the initial engagement. Like, the opening hours were just immediately lost. Maybe they slow down after enough fights, but I doubt it. And they're doing a naval invasion, which is not cool. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, chat. I think the French are gonna win this fight because within the first engagement, they slaughtered over half the army while we were in the middle of upgrading. I don't know. I think we just blame me. I'm gonna be honest with you, chat. I think we just blame me for not upgrading the army in time. For sitting on it for way too long. We'll see if we can win this war, because I don't mind it right now since it's just our subjects that are burning to death. Because the conscription centers are kind of coming online and recruiting more people. It also would probably be smart if a certain someone, that being me, actually took the time to recruit more troops for a larger standing army so he doesn't have to wait 3 years. And yes, I'm going to make the Hungarians do all the fighting to actually get this going. I mean, we'll see. I don't think we win this, but maybe if we're lucky, the French are about to have some kind of mass revolt. No, not really. Okay, well, that's fine. Oh, I did say we should really be focusing on our production research, didn't I? Yeah. I did forget my own rule of thumb there, huh? Because right now it is very quick. Even though it means not doing any military techs, but I don't think the military techs will be done in time. Oh my god, an event associated with the flood. Fantastic. Just what I wanted to see. As if the day couldn't have gotten worse somewhere. It got worse. I kind of want to get proportional taxation at this point, or dedicated police force. But for now, I'll just embrace the per capita system because that gets us money and I need money. The United Netherlands has been formed, chat. It is also going to war with Spain again because reasons. Well, really, the Spanish are going to war against. I really shouldn't blame our ally for that. It's not their fault. Okay, hang on, chat. Maybe we can stop them. Because we're starting to stalemate it a bit. Not by a lot, but we're starting to stalemate it a bit. Maybe we can actually push forward now because we're actually starting to look a little good. The conscription centers are working. It turns out to conscript the masses and just fight in Italy long enough. You can stop Napoleon 2.0. You just need to be a very black spot on Europe's map and they'll ignore you. Let's actually go for the second level creative legislator next, just to keep cohesion up. Plus, it'd be nice to make it to where movements can't negatively impact our attempts further. So where are we as a war support? We're fine. Okay. Okay, so they stopped attacking. We started attacking. We didn't really liberate any land in the end, actually. I don't think. Oh no! You know what? We've almost liberated Sardinia. It's just a very big back and forth. But I think we have more troops in the end. Yeah, with all the conscriptions, we have more troops. It is very costly for us, but we might get away with it. And you know what's great, chat? Look at what Tuscany did. Tuscany added Catalonia, Corsica, and Occitania for liberations. So thanks to Tuscany becoming our subject, we might break the French Empire. I don't think we'll get it, because I think we'll stalemate on the border, but we're gonna see. Because I'm gonna try here for a bit. Oh. Another member of the cabinet bites the dust. And now we have an unacceptable government because of a random Republican. That won't do. Oh. Sorry, this is being slightly laggy. I know the market liberal supports the liberal movement. That's just going to bring the liberal movement back. It's been here for a while, actually. I need to suppress it now that I think about it before constitutional pressure grows. I invited the market liberal because I was going to make him a part of the government, and I just realized what a terrible idea that plan was, but it's too late to take it back now. He's already in government. Or, he's already in the country, I should say. Okay, and then we're just gonna let the private pool take over. We could go for white peace, but seeing the advantage we have right now, I'm trying to see if we can't actually just break them a little. I don't think we can do it, but I kind of want to try. Because I see we're making advances into their territory. We're just also not liberating Switzerland and Sardinia, so they're just burning down. Burgundy has formed in the game. Yeah, I think we're okay. We don't need to afford. We don't have to surrender yet. We're like budget-wise, we're fine. What? Wait, what? I'm a little confused. Hang on, chat. Let me reload back to the beginning of our autosave. Apparently, we just violated a treaty that I'm pretty sure we didn't violate. What treaty could we have possibly violated there? Oh, I think I know what it was. I think the Egyptians, like, got into a war or something and we didn't respond and it broke. Yeah. Hey, we can make the Egyptians a subject. Let's go. I'm now at war. Okay, maybe now we do seek a truce with the French because we have the Ottomans to deal with for the Egyptian subject. I think that's what happened is I just didn't notice that. Although I can't make the surrender deal, so I'm just going to direct a good chunk of the army elsewhere in that case. Yeah, that feels better. Because the French army is devastated enough to where I think we're fine, actually. Yeah. The investment pool isn't using all of our construction, which is a slight headache for me, but it's not a big issue. We can solve it fine. Yeah, right now the French are just wanting a white truce. And I mean, most of our army isn't on the border now. I'm actually going to take this because Switzerland is burning down. Our debt is getting really high. And we achieved our objective of making sure Tuscany stays in our sphere of influence anyway. We actually pulled them into our sphere of influence thanks to this war. So we'll let the French live. Our ally Burgundy is now a great power, which I find hilarious. And now we can focus on just curb stomping the Ottomans for a third time. Because why not destroy the Ottoman Empire every chance you get? Oh, and the Egyptians are going to take Adana as well. Fantastic. I think the Egyptian uprising might win too, chat. I don't know if it will, but it's been alive for a surprisingly long time at this point. It's actually a little strange how long it's been around. Constitutional pressure is still negligible. I think we'll get this just fine. Yeah, the Ottoman Empire is just dead. Yeah, we probably want to fish for better generals at this point. I just kind of... Oh. Okay, Japan has a radical revolt going on. You have fun, Japan. I'm gonna half ignore that. Only half ignore it. We're still gonna pay attention. But it doesn't concern us either. Build 5 of those there. It also went a bit unsaid, but our third company, the furniture company, did become prosperous, so we do have that going for us as well now, which is fantastic. Hey, there we go. Neo-Absolutist reform is done. Autocracy in the age of liberty. So we have one of two bonuses to choose from that are decaying for 20 years. Either we can make it less radical as... Oh, that 20 years of bureaucratic strength doesn't decay. I see. Okay, it's only the authority and suppression that decay. So what do we want? Do we want to give the Kaiser plus 50 popularity, which he is an enlightened royalist, so this is just really funny? Or do we want to give bureaucrats even more strength? Because remember, the Neo-Absolutism law is going to give them plus 50 already, so there's going to be a jump in their strength. Also gives us more authority, which is cool. Yeah, we could use the OP general. I've just been kind of letting them horde attack right now because the Ottomans can't beat us, and the French had almost nothing, but everything was consolidating under one general anyway, so it wasn't really working out that well. For context, this is what autocracy currently does. It buffs the aristocrats 200 authority, 150 total legitimacy. Neo-Absolutism is still the same legitimacy and legitimacy penalties, but bureaucrats get the bonus and you get 15 more authority, which is awesome. What is our current bureaucrat clout, actually? I'm curious. 4.3%. So if we took the option to buff them, they'd be probably sitting at about 9%. No, about 7%. Yeah, let's oh god, I kind of want to make them popular, but I don't know if wait, ruler and politician. Wait a minute. Okay, no, never mind. I was gonna say, is he also impacting the clout? I'm very curious. I presume the ruler is not impacting the clout, but I have to check real quick and make sure he's not. No, he's not. Okay, I just had to check and make sure. In that case, yeah, we'll give the the bureaucrats more authority, more political clout. So it's 4.3. Now they're at 7.2 as 0.63% of the population. The aristocrats also fell significantly, chat. I just watched that flip hard on its head. The only problem is that the next upcoming heir is a member of the aristocracy. Unless he dies, but that's not happening, so... We're a little stuck in that regard. We could kick the aristocracy out, though, but I'm not going to do that just yet. Hey, random anthem. Oh, the industrialists just became powerful. Jeez, okay. Can we make a government with them? Eh, not quite. The bourgeoisie need more clout. A Republican bourgeoisie, right? He's in a very odd place right now. I don't think he realizes where he is. Our absolutist movement kind of fell apart on us, but it's recovering. Oh, you know what? Popularity affects absolutism, so we could have buffed his popularity instead. But oh well, we already made our choice. We'll live with it. I'm just gonna demobilize most of the army now because our expenses have gotten really high. I also don't think the Spanish are that much of a threat at this point. Proportional taxation at this point would do just as well. Should we just skip to proportional taxation? Not that we'd, you know what, though? Then we'd be rolling in the lack of a success chance. We might just save that for later. Because if we drop it now, we're not going to get any of the money that we need. And that's going to hurt really bad. You know, I might just dip out of this war, actually. Yeah, let's just dip out at this point. There's no fighting going on, there's no benefit for us, and our debt has gotten pretty high. Although I'm probably just going to allow the private pool to take over from here. We have the legacy of Metternich for another 3 years, so... Wow, 15 months for technology? That's insane. For Era 3? That's nuts. Yeah, I mean, take my technology points at that point. Like, goddamn. That is really good. Yeah, we're making it in some areas. The liquor. Right? We need more of everything, really. I know you're saying it to a specific thing, but we just need more of everything is what I'm going with. Because why not more of everything? I do love the fact they added your trade capacity total to the window as well now. We're exporting almost 5,000 paper. Who's importing all of this? The British. Whoa, wait. British Republic? Wait, what's happening? Wow. We literally are the autocracy in the age of liberalism because both the French and British have overthrown their crowns. Burgundy has actually not, though, so they actually went autocratic. We'll get transportation infrastructure eventually. We don't have the mandates right now, so that's just kind of a work in progress thing. Essentially. A revolt in Italy. That won't do. We gotta put that down. Not that it'll be hard to put down, honestly. It should be pretty smooth sailing. I love that laws picture. We have so much authority from it. We could get off local police force. The aristocrats won't like that, but I would prefer to reduce the radical turmoil. And also probably move us over to more bourgeoisie club instead, please. Thank you. That's good reinvestment. Financial districts and company headquarters are pretty up there now. I do see that these two are still having their higher fire struggles, but we know that for Bohemia, the issue is that there's just no aristocratic qualifications, or at least not enough of them. That's kind of something that should solve itself in a decade or two. This is at least stable. Speaking of which, now that I have more authority, actually, let me just grant them furniture manufacturing monopoly rights, because who does not love a good monopoly in this day and age? I'm gonna get the level 3 creative legislature next, just because our cohesion really fell. We might lose 2 Sicilies because of that if this continues. So I just had to do something to bring leverage back up. Oh, wow. Grain got really expensive. I hope people are not reliant on grain for their food security. Grain makes up 5% of basic food needs. Yeah, the National Guard does give them clout. We could switch over to that later. But we'll switch to dedicated police force for now. Just get off local. Bulgaria is now a puppet. We're actually making 16k from our puppets, which isn't much, but at least we're making something from them, right? They're good extensions of their will. And you know what? The Navy is actually somewhat cohesive. It's not a grand or great Navy, but it's a Navy that actually exists, which is a step from not existing. I like this. This is going very well so far. The industrialists are becoming powerful, but that's not an issue, I'm sure. Yeah, so we can't do federal solution anymore, but it's still technically an option, which I find to be really funny. Technocracy we can't go for. There's not really a lot of, well, oh, you know, we could survey the Suez at least. Yeah, we should do that. Ooh, another one of the new musics. How nice. A person wants to switch to laissez-faire, but laissez-faire means no monopolies, and I really like monopolies in this game. Which is a wild thing to say. I've also noticed the food industries in Bohemia are still paying their laborers very poor wages. But I suspect that has to do with the constant floods they've been getting there and not actual stupidity by the game. Because Bohemia has had like 2 to 3 floods now at this point in the game already, and it's just devastated the state over and over again. Now we have actual dynamite, so we're actually going to go ahead and switch to actually using that. Instead of sitting on all of our explosives and doing nothing with it. Where did I build that? Yeah, there we go. Police force is struggling to pass, though, so not everything is well. A few things are. Police force is not having a good time. I think we invest into explosives next. That way we can make a lot more iron with the same amount of pops. Well, roughly the same amount of pops. Yes, integrating them would be nice. The thing is that we'd have to go, we'd have to do something like dual monarchy or triple monarchy, and that auto-spawns a new Hungarian subject, which I don't want to do. But also, we succeeded in our Neo-Absolutism journal entry, so we cannot be forced into the government monarchy type. Oh! Oh, this is cool. I didn't know if you moused over this, it actually told you how to achieve it. Well, that's actually pretty cool. Or at least gave you some hints on how to achieve it. That's pretty neat. Yeah, we'll probably get transportation infrastructure next, replacing defensive cooperation. I say probably because we sold on it. But that might be what we do. Oh, to Sicilies, how I would love for you to become my subject, but the last civil war you had didn't push you over the edge. I hope my bigger army will change their mind. How's Serbia doing? Still upset as ever? Okay, yeah, the police force is so close to passing, but it's so close to failing at the same time. I love it. There we go. Egypt is now a puppet. So, honestly, at this point, I am... This is wild, chat. I don't know why, but there's actually South Germans in this state. And it's considered a treaty port for the Austrian market. It's a treaty port for the Austrian market. I see. I don't understand how that works, but okay. I don't really want to do that. Slightly worried about bugging out the game with that weird treaty port now. Oh, I guess it is still a treaty port of sorts here, isn't it? Yeah. I can't even withdraw from it without incurring infamy. Oh my god, okay. That's funny. Okay, yeah, the EIC is now the Raj. I was wondering what changed in the overall fabric of things. Oh wow, I didn't know Qing had such a terrible opinion of us. They have a cold relationship, apparently. I'd like to keep an eye over North Africa. Hey, as Austria be the #1 producer of art and furniture. That's actually a new achievement. I actually forgot that was an achievement. You know what? Good on you, Vincent. Thanks to your suggestions on focusing on furniture, we got an achievement. Accidentally, I might add. We weren't even planning for that one. You know what? We really should invest in more logging, because apparently we need a lot of wood. And we have a company that's invested into wood, so that would be a very easy thing to build. I've also noticed we're actually running a surplus in the budget, finally. So, you know what that means, chat? It is time to completely obliterate the budget, even though we probably shouldn't. And I do mean obliterate the budget. Area, why can't I do anything with you? Notice I can't. Oh, because I'm trying to attack Bavaria while being defensive allies, right? Oh God, I'm such a fool. Let's see. We'll just go make Saxony a subject real quick because we were at the point where we had no infamy, so I figured. Oh! I picked the wrong Saxony! Oh, that's the wrong one! Oh no! Oh well. We'll get around to it, don't worry. We'll solve that. It means they'll starve, but what could go wrong, right? And we buy the Suez. Yes. Hey, who wants a Habsburg canal? Because that's exactly what we're going to be building up. I find that funny that I somehow managed to click on the wrong Saxony. Don't mind the aristocracy being upset. They wanted me to promise something, and I quote-unquote promised it without actually promising it. Now they're really upset about it. But honestly, I never intended to fulfill the promise to begin with. So, oh well. And most of our money comes from manufacturing now anyway. So I really couldn't care if they're upset. How much longer do we have in that journal entry? Or, like I see, 10 months? 10 months, chat, and then we lose all those glorious bonuses. All those delicious, beautiful bonuses. So we may as well use it on one more tech. I guess improved fertilizer, and then we'll make some actually decent grain farms. I think they're all set to it now, right? Yeah, they all are. We just need to... Wait, the Austrian aristocracy is planning to coup and establish the regular autocracy law instead of the neo-autocracy. Or Neo-Absolutism. Yeah, we are building a new port for Suez there. Although I did just realize we don't need the port because technically the Egyptians are our subjects, but oh well. Yeah, whooped it either way. If the coup becomes too dangerous, I'll just give the aristocracy a loan, but for now I think we're fine. I think we can afford to let it take along. Oh, right, you're market isolated right now, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah, go ahead and have your own market until I figure out how to pull you into the market. I meant to go after regular Saxony here, but I must have misclicked after reading this. We may as well still do it. It'll only put us up to 16. Whoa, what is that heat wave? Oh, sorry. Look at that drought. That drought is spreading from the French Low Countries all the way to Warsaw. I've never seen a drought that large. Where is the harvest conditions? That is all one massive drought. That's insane. Is that really not two different droughts? I feel like that's two different droughts. Yeah, I think what that is, actually, chat, I think that's two different droughts that started around the same time, because that's wild if it's only one. Just, Prussia's just suffering while we're invading its neighbors. We're such good neighbors. Yeah, Prussia will survive that drought, but that's definitely, oh my god, the 27 throughput negative. That's definitely going to make a couple peasants unhappy. At least I feel like it would. It'd make me happy, that's for sure. Hey, there we go. So, what do the aristocrats want to where I can calm down their coup frenzy before they rip out our awesome stuff? Honestly, not a lot. Maybe there's someone we can invite who can take their place. No, because we recently invited someone, didn't we? Yeah, we have a cooldown for a few months, though. It's fine. Oh, you know what, chat? We could just kick them out of government. They'll be upset with us, but, I mean... Until this guy dies in, like, 60 years, we don't have to care. And we'll probably be done with the stream before he dies at this rate anyway. We could bring in the industrialists, actually. This might be a good time for that, yeah. They would actually help us pass elected bureaucrats, which would help the bourgeoisie. Wait, how? I thought you couldn't pass this unless you had voting laws. I'm a little confused. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I'm pretty sure you can only pass this when you have election laws. That's a little confusing for me, but okay. Sure, game. I am actually going to go ahead and just kick the aristocracy out. Hey, Saxony back down to us. Just because I don't want them to coup us and ruin our Neo-Absolutism. I guess we'll just avoid antagonizing them further, even though they're already pretty antagonized. I kind of want to bring in the industrialists, actually, but then we have to kick out the church, and I don't know if the church would like that. They probably wouldn't. But yeah, that's what I was saying too. Is that they need you need voting laws to get elected bureaucrats. So it's really weird that it's offering to let's do it anyway. That's honestly, I'm going to work with the assumption that it's a bug and it's not working. Excuse me, it's not working as intended right now. Aristocracy would really get upset if we tried to pass that, huh? What are we tariffing? Mainly sugar, which we import for our needs. Of course we are. Let's just keep the contested government for now, just because that'll stop radicals from spawning, which is nice. Because, you know, we don't like radicals around here, if we can help it. Oh. I was wondering what was happening down. Not really paying attention to Montenegro. We could probably replace them, but we're probably just gonna end up rolling more of them anyway. Like, let me just kind of fire 2 of them here. Or at least 1 of them. Again, we can get the industrialists instead, which I suppose is better. But it's still spawning a lot of the aristocracy, just because the aristocracy have a lot of clout. They even have one of the executive positions. Maybe we need to get rid of minoralism at some point, but in 6 weeks, the legacy of Metternich dies, then they'll go with it. So I get a clout boost from that, too. Oh, that weakened the bourgeoisie. I was trying to upset the Czechs and I wasn't reading. Oh well. Yeah, I'm watching the company headquarters kind of higher fire, which is not great, but here's hoping that eventually resolves itself. We could fire all the generals, but first off, any new generals require a year's wait time. But I guess we could fire some of their more influential generals at least. The problem is that it's just bringing us more of them, so while I can fire them, we're just kind of landing back in the same spot where we have a bunch of them. Except now they're really upset. So we're kind of stuck in that regard. Ah, there we go. I can at least get them out of the Navy. There we go. They at least no longer have any clout in the Navy. They lost some of their other bonuses too, and a somewhat influential general, so the armed forces exist now too. So we're at least eroding their influence. Though it's mostly because the legacy of Metternich finally dried up. They're already having a civil war. That's true, it does help crush their clout a bit. I love how expensive grain is becoming. Because the food industries are using it all up, and so have the livestock ranches. Grain accounts for 4% of basic needs in the market now. I just want to note that. And most of the people who are having starvation issues are just pops who don't have jobs. So, you know, just get a job and you'll be fine. Although grain getting expensive is a bit of a problem if we actually want to make money off of it. It looks like it's time to finally build up some of our agricultural land. This does mean we are going to be building up the subsistence farms and losing the state construction efficiency from the minoralisms. Or minoralism, but we kind of need it. Also, actually, getting rid of the subsistence will help crush the aristocracy more because this is going to get rid of actual aristocrats from the manor houses who are wealthy. So, you know, it's just that time of year to crush the aristocrats. And maybe realize we should build some fertilizer plants before we move on. Just a few, not too many. Just a few. And now that we don't have any of the production bonuses anymore, we can start doing more of our social techs instead, I think. There's also an argument to be made for... Yeah. Actually, with all the wars we've been doing with France, we'll grab triage real quick before they come back for round 5 or whatever it is. Because I'm pretty certain we're going to be at war with France again in the future. Just at some point. I don't know when. I'm actually surprised at how genial Prussia's been. They haven't tried to fight war against us once. And usually their AI becomes aggressive towards you. So it's kind of strange how they're not aggressive. Oh? Oh! I didn't know about this event. I guess we don't have to worry about the aristocrats taking power later at all. Rudolf von Habsburg. And he's a royalist. Hey, I'll take it. Intelligentsia, too. So there's actually an argument to be made to buff the Intelligentsia. They're led by a radical right now, but don't let that sway you or trick you. They can be convinced to change their positions, I'm sure. Forceful persuasion is our specialty. Oh wow, the Prussians are actually giving us a pretty favorable deal here. Yeah. Hey, good news. It wasn't the French that declared war on us. uh we'll definitely do a couple purges here in just a minute. I'm just trying to debate on if we want to take territories or and then give it to subjects. Like we could be really funny and give Montenegro territory just to see what happens. Technically, we have Serbia too. They're both our protectorates, but eh. Because by the way, they're still raiding the Ottomans. Not that I know if they're doing any damage with it at this point. It is really funny, though. Oh, you know, I kind of want to grab Tunis, actually, just because the French want it. Ah, we could do both. Let's grab Tunis for certain. And then Bosnia. That already puts us at 29. Ah, I guess we could take Tripolitania, too. And then I'll make Tripolitania primary so they don't back down easily. Because otherwise they will, and we're not going to get anything out of this then. Could try to take more land, but we're actually trying to avoid becoming a, you know, pariah. Although I will actually take Ottoman West Serbia, I think. That's 12 points for Ottoman West Serbia? I saw that. Where was that? 12.7. Does it really have that many people? No, not in my opinion. Also, I believe Montenegro and Serbia can only join into one country if they're both independent, so that's not happening anyway. So we'll go along and seize Bosnia and their subjects to weaken the Ottomans even further. They're a couple years away from their collapse. Wait, oh no! Chat, we have a problem. Two of our allies are going to war with each other right now. I'm just gonna quietly stop supporting the Prussians because the Prussians might fight us later on for, leadership and all that. So we're just gonna grant them, like, military assistance to bribe them here. Okay, backstabbing of Prussia completed because look at what Burgundy's trying to do now. What is this? Should I even be supporting this? Ah, you know what we could do? We could jump in for leadership here, even though it means giving Burgundy parts of... even though it means giving Burgundy parts of Germany. Well, the Habsburgs are on their way to... Ah. So at the same time we join, Russia actually joins them. So suddenly this war with the Ottomans is not looking so hot. We can win it because the Burgundians actually have an army, but, you know, you're gonna need to give me a minute here. Prussia just got 2 untrustworthy country modifiers at least. So that's neat. Yeah, we're conscripting right now. We'll try to knock out the Ottomans quickly enough that we can just jump on over. 2 Sicilies did just leave the Metternich system, which I'm not surprised about. They were kind of faltering for a while. We're just gonna take them over later. We probably need to make a 4th army at this point, now that I think about it. I need to set these to only Austrian formations. Yeah, the Ottomans are dying pretty fast. I think if we dig in and hold our ground, we'll be fine. Oh! No, so 2 Sicilies left the power block with us, and... now they're attacking our subject? No, our subject is attacking them! Hang on, I'm gonna downgrade our relations with 2 Sicilies here. Oh, I'd love to make 2 Sicilies a protectorate through this war, but it makes us so infamous. I don't know if it's worth it. Oh, I don't know if that's worth... Is that worth it to go to 94 infamy? That's really high infamy. I mean, we could just coast down it for a decade afterwards. We're just gonna have to really face check our subjects here the whole time. Actually, I'm kind of tempted to do it because I think it means the Italian subjects after the leadership war would just unite under the papacy because most of them are in the same market now. Also, I'd like to note real quick, the papacy is our puppet. It's still doing an Italian leadership war. You know what? I'm gonna go for broke. I'm too curious. I'm sorry, chat. I'm too curious. We gotta go for broke here and see what happens. Did make us the leader, actually, which is a little awkward, but oh well. I think I can pull you away now, right? No, I cannot. Okay. That's fine. Well, the Russians are in the war anyway, so the initial Russian losses here should be enough. You know what? It's not our first time fighting a 3-front war as Austria. We did this on the previous stream too, and we managed to win 2 of the wars. So we just have to do it a second time. You know what? You'll get here faster, so just break 2 Sicilies down. We've already killed the Ottomans that are there. I'm saying too many words too fast and getting confused on what I'm dealing with. Oh, right, so we could just go for... Where is it? We could just go for transportation infrastructure next for the economy of scale. There is also an argument to be made for police coordination just to spew out more authority. We still have 35 months before we meet the final mandate, so I can just leave that up in the air for people to debate about. Okay, we finally have first aid. Not the best time to implement it, but, well, there's not going to be a better time until after the war. And I don't plan on sitting here until after the war to start implementing it. So that's spreading. I'd like to get this. Corporatism would be nice. There's a lot of good text here. Steel frame is probably what we grab, though. So the good news is that a lot of their troops are kind of dying on the front line with us, but a lot of our own troops have died too, so we're kind of not doing good. Yeah, more pops would be good. I know I just promoted an Austrian aristocrat, but I needed to make sure we weren't short-handed on the front at all for leadership. Yeah, because the enemy armies are dying. I do see we're getting pushed in Bosnia, but we're also nearing the Ottoman capital. So honestly, this war is probably already over in our favor. Yeah. Yeah, the war's over in our favor. So now we can just bring up another force to fight the Prussians and Russians, and that's just it. Tripolitania and Tunis are ours. Now, the question, chat, do we keep Bosnia, or do we try to make a Yugoslavian subject? Like giving it to Montenegro, which would be stupid, but funny. I say stupid because, you know, they're under traditionalism and they have women in the fields. Well, we might just hold on to it for now, actually. Just kind of pseudo-incorporate it while we're thinking. Oh man, we're still not making enough bullets. Probably because of all the conscripts. Hey, there we go, we're making enough now. Not too much, but, you know, enough to survive on. Yeah, we could keep Bosnia. It's the worst look for the map, at least. There we go. Russia's backed out of one war, but Now we're involved in a separate war, but then with 2 Sicilies, but I think, yeah. Oh shoot, Finland might take Olo from, sorry, Sweden take Finland from, take Olo from Finland. Wow, that was way too many words in one sentence. I don't know if we're with, wow. They're liberating Pomerania and conquering the Ruhr. Look at all that, what is this Burgundy? I've never seen this. They're so aggressive that we're actually losing relations with them. They're super aggressive this game. I love it. How's the investment pool doing? Oh, it's fine. Honestly, the investment pool could probably handle more of this for us. And we could just sit back and relax for fun. Yeah, there we go. So now that we drop grain prices to +10 base price from +30, the food industry's actually raised their wages. So now the pops aren't starving. That's good to see. What are they missing here? Machinists, aristocrats. Man, qualifications are not doing well in some areas for some reason. Oh, you know what it is? It might be because all the pops here are joining the army as well. Yeah, we did build a lot of barracks here. They might be dying in war. That could be it. Probably isn't it, but you know, could be. That's funny. The Finnish have seized a part. The Swedish have seized Finland. My God. Yeah, we could do the. Well, we probably won't do the explosive company next. Actually, it's not bad, but I don't think it's worth that much for us. I don't think it is, at least. It's not a bad company to have. I will say that. I just don't know if that's what we're gonna need in the long run. All right, we're seizing Brandenburg now, so this war's over. I mean, it was already over. We just had to kind of put in the coffin. But this is effectively over now. Oh man, Qing really does not like me. I was trying to improve relations with them and everything. Oh hey, a radical revolt in Britain. Go. Free radicals. Not really free. Someone has to pay for them, I'm sure. Just gonna get a bunch of interest in South America just to trade down there more often. It's a shame we couldn't cripple the French so far in this game, but I've been loving how it's going. I have to apologize in advance, chat, but the map is about to become a little ugly with more Burgundy on it. No, they're getting everything but the Rhineland. No, I want to see them get the Rhineland too. We've come this far for this mess. I have to see it go to the end. It must reach the end. Also, we can cripple Prussia more by letting the war last a little longer. So, you know. Selfish reasons. There we go. And now we are going to annex the southern German states, which is a nice bonus for us. It does mean we can't do the whole, like, unification with Prussia, because now they're not a viable candidate. But we weren't really planning to do that to begin with anyway. We just did it because we got free land. Oh, the North Rhine's now cut off completely. You know, I wasn't lying when I said this was going to look ugly. This looked ugly. Oh. We just watched the AI make the Confederation of the Rhine. With us North German Danish? Oh, don't tell me. It came from here. Oh. It has North German and Danish, so it could technically get annexed into Scandinavia later through a war. We might betray Burgundy later and transfer the Confederation to us, yeah. But for now, it's just really funny to watch. So we're probably just gonna kind of sit and watch it happen because it's funny. Funny to me, at least. Let's see. Our tax base is starting to short up again, I noticed. As is our bureaucracy. Yeah, it's not... This is... Honestly, compared to our last stream, this is going very well. Even the road bumps we faced along the way have not been as bad as the last stream. This has gone pretty well. I'm watching the Ottomans get dismantled more now, this time by Greece, who became a subject of Russia in exchange for their aid. So at this point, the Ottomans are just dead. It is also about... It's not even 1866 yet. They're not even the dead man of Europe, and they're already dead. That's how bad it is. Oh, right. We've actually got to decide that whole Metternich System thing now. Because police coordination means we have more authority to use in political activism and dies. Transportation infrastructure is good too, though. Economy of scale cap you cannot go wrong with, plus more port throughput, which is just good. Although I don't think we're hitting the current 50 economy of scale cap yet in most areas. Not unless you count the rye farm, in which case then we are. But that's kind of more of an outlier exception than the rule. And I know it doesn't impact trade centers, so it's kind of useless for them. Still cool, though. Still 10% of our economy in one state. Oh, I guess it would benefit this paper mill. I guess it would benefit the paper mill, so there you go. We'll just take it then. Because I guess we aren't really having much of an issue with turmoil or rebellious pops now. We've kind of solved that issue. Oh, our new subject of Saxony is actually conquering. Yeah, Prussia loses a leadership war and suddenly all hell breaks loose. That's pretty amusing in my opinion. Hey, steel frames. And more separatist support because people don't like us, I guess. Boo. I'm a little scared to research mutual funds, chat, because that's gonna start pushing us towards the German economic miracle. But it makes sense to go for our next company and to get reinvestment even higher. It'll help free up wood and fabric too for other things, which is nice. It'll also help steel become very demanded, which is definitely something we want. Demanded? Lots of demand. High demand. Look, I didn't say we'd be speaking English well here. We're definitely speaking it. I do love how expensive iron is despite all of that. Should get more expensive here once we get more steel mills going. We actually need glass too, because of course we don't have any glass yet. Well, we have glass, not a lot of glass. I'm gonna revoke their market control. They should be in our market now. Now that we're physically connected to them. So, as expected, we are gaining Liberty Desire in a number of subjects, but other subjects aren't gaining Liberty Desire, so that's good. We pretty much control the Italian peninsula at this point. We are researching the open... Oh, I think we already finished the open hearth, actually. Yeah, we've already finished the open hearth. We've already, installed it and everything. I know we don't have the glass for switching all these over yet, but I'm just switching a bunch of them right now. Because why not? And there we go. The Ottomans' rivalry just broke everywhere. They're just dying. The industrialists are no longer powerful, actually. They suddenly fell. My guess is a bunch of capitalists just got fired again. Because that just seems to be par for the course right now. Oh, positivists. That's technically a liberal movement. but we can technically also not care about it. I don't know. Maybe instead of all that iron, we actually invest into some glass works. Yeah, that'll do. That's much better. Oh, wow, they're suddenly going ham on building trade centers. There's 14 trade centers queued up in Lombardy. I mean, if the AI thinks it's good trade, the AI is free to go nuts. I will not stop it. Not entirely, at least. We'll stop it if it gets too crazy, but honestly, I think it's this way. Yeah, we've got good pop growth, standard of living is going up, GDP going up. Honestly, we're pretty stable despite the insanity around us. How's Prussia doing? Major power now. Very nice. And the Ottomans are pretty much just kicked out of the Baltics at this point. I love it. This journal entry still has a number of years going for it. And I have noticed they haven't really changed it since. Now, they did make it to where you can actually read into what you get for each one. Of which one you can choose. But it's still like the conversion and assimilation bonuses, the loyalists. And considering it's a journal entry you have to pursue for 30 years, the rewards aren't the greatest thing, but they're not the worst either. They're just kind of, you know, they're there. It's not bad. Wait, our subject, Montenegro, is now attacking the Ottomans to seize Serbia and Kosovo. That's great. I love it. I don't know if Montenegro can win that on their own, though. And I can't join because we have a truce. But apparently Montenegro's feeling pretty confident, so... I guess I'll look out. Hey, anti-French lobby, let's go. Yeah, giving them more clout would be a wise-ish idea. But I love my secret police. Then again, they still cut activism down by 4%. We'll just lose the suppression bonus. Speaking of which, I just realized we have that plus 40 suppression bonus for at least another 9 years, although it's been decaying. So political movements are slowly making a comeback. Does it only buff it by 5% per level? It does. Weird. Okay. Technically, private healthcare buffs them too, but switching off of public could hurt. But you know what? We can make the slow switch to it. Why not? You made the intelligentsia finally combat as well, anyway. Sacrifice for the greater good, pretty much. I'm watching all the German German states get into just utter chaos now. Oh, France is now targeting Burgundy, so we might use this war as an opportunity to get Alsace-Lorraine. Or at least just bully the French out of existence. We can't go for a liberate country goal because it's too expensive. Otherwise, I'd consider that instead in its place. Oh, the seizing of whole state is 35. We don't have the, we have the homeland cost reduction, actually, which is just enough to get Alsace-Lorraine. Yeah, why not? It's rightful German territory. I mean, Habsburg territory. Did I grab all 3 armies or only 2 of them? Oh, there's the 3rd one. I couldn't see it. I think with our combined forces, the French actually just lose. That's an easy demand to fulfill. Getting a lot of our peasants to be non-peasants is probably something we need to do at this point anyway as well, so building a couple rye and livestock ranches is very much within our budget. That'll get a lot more demand flowing. It might mean standard of living goes up and pop growth rate slows, but I think we're at the point of the game where it's fine. It's whatever, we just let it happen. I'm not planning to finish that special economic journal entry for the Germans. It ain't gonna happen. We've actually been streaming for almost 4 hours, so we might find a stopping point in 20 or so minutes, give it a nice 3 hours. We'll see. We'll see. Because I know too long is no fun. Well, maybe it's fun for some people. Some people just like to have something in the background while they do something else, and I'm fine with that, as long as people are enjoying it. Yeah, they're not winning this. I didn't even need to raise conscripts for this fight. Most of the French army is already gone. We are still taking notable casualties, of course. That's not surprising, but Burgundy's fighting a lot of it too, so we're not eating up the cost alone. So now we are actually going to switch the financial districts to publicly traded. This does get rid of the shopkeepers who support the bourgeoisie, but it's going to add bureaucrats who don't support the industrialists. And apparently our next ruler is a member of the intelligentsia, so have at it. And I guess just straight to investment banks, because why not get another company? And keep in mind the bureaucrats have a lot of extra clout right now, so getting more bureaucrats is actually pretty good for them. The clout has kind of fallen, and I suspect it'll fall further for a bit, but oh well. That's kind of how it goes sometimes with the... we can actually raise government wages, I suppose, and up the bureaucrats, but I don't want to. I don't want to right now. They can pick themselves up. I am glad they edited journal entries like this to check for any variant instead of a specific variant. It ensure that you'll get it done. So let's see. Really, the French aren't going to lose that much in the end. I think the biggest loss for them is just being invaded and suffering financially from it. Switch them all over. I need to check out Mappy Rivers again really quick, because, okay, yeah, these are all part of the Mappy River. I'm just trying to figure out what areas are connected to Mappy River, so I know they'll be able to get to 100% connection. Because then I know those are really good areas to just build a bunch of stuff in. Because over time, they will benefit. Why did Brazil break our treaty? Are they hostile? Yeah, they became antagonistic. Okay. Well, that happens. The Burgundian flag's just flying over most of France. Not even us. It's the AI. Well, it is also us too, I guess. But it's very funny. Our infamy did get knocked all the way back up, though, which is a little unfortunate, but no matter. Oh, the aristocrats are finally no longer upset with us after so many years. Oh, nice. I'm just going to dismantle some of those arms industries because we have way too many guns in the Austrian market right now. Hey, Steam Donkey. That's nice. Yeah, all of these buildings are still hiring and firing their capitalists, which is not great, but there's not much I can do about it. At least the clerics working in them are very likely to join the bourgeoisie. Oh, what's going on now? Oh, Montenegro is having a revolt while being at war with the Ottomans. Oh, I can contain the revolt at least. But that does mean the Ottomans are going to humiliate them. Rejected assimilation policies. You lack the audio, really? Let me, because OBS is picking up my input capture still. And YouTube's saying the stream's not having any issues the whole time. Thank you, Ed. I'm trying to figure out if it's just like an issue on his end or our end. I have no idea. Oh, cool. We can start a Q&A thing and a poll. That's where they put it now. No music and audio static sometimes. I'm starting... That would explain a few things. I'm starting to wonder if that might be on the Victoria 3 end of things then. Because very occasionally I do have a split-second audio static on my end. I think that part right there is actually my game. It's rare, but sometimes Victoria 3 does have a performance issue that just kind of pops up, which I think is largely an issue with Windows 11, and that stems from some issues of Windows 11 that came up since December of last year that only Windows, or sorry, Microsoft can solve. It's not something game companies can go in and fix. Because the issue is more within the operating system itself than the actual game code. So in those circumstances, there's not much they can do. Which is a shame, but oh well. Oh, I'm gonna have to listen to some of the live stream recording after the end then. So in that case, we end it a little after the third hour here, but we'll see. Right now, I'm just kind of letting the revolts play in the background, although I forgot to move our units. Oh wow, Russia still hasn't taken Circassia yet. They're working on it now, though. Yeah, I am just kind of hoping they'll fix the issues with Windows 11, because I honestly think some of the performance issues with Victoria 3 is because of those problems. But a lot of it is also just Victoria 3 being Victoria 3. So Morocco's asking for aid against the French, and I figured, since we know the French army was just very recently badly brutalized by our forces, this is actually a fantastic opportunity to just go in and finish the job. We could do this now and actually force the liberation of Occitania and break the French. We are going to sacrifice some territorial areas, though. Actually, I just realized they moved a lot of their troops away from Morocco, so Morocco doesn't need us now. We can actually just focus on our own areas. Where did the Navy go? There it is. There we go. There we go. Now, we mentioned that we would get them both before, and I know it might not be the best thing in the world. But do we... Sorry, my brain fried for a second. Do we go for the partial bureaucrat ownership company, the Mavag, which I'm definitely mispronouncing horribly, or do we go for the partial aristocratic ownership for fun? We could honestly go for either. We have 18 art academies, so if the art academies are at least making a profit, because otherwise they would just disband and die. In fact, it looks like I have forgotten to change some of their settings. They weren't even making realist art at the time. The partial bureaucrat one, yeah, that's what I was kind of leaning towards because of all the bureaucrat buffs we have going right now. Plus, tool workshops and motor industries is not a bad bonus. Identification documents for home affairs. And because we have the authority. First off, I need to find the headquarters really quick and pin it. We're actually going to give them monopolies on both buildings as well. Because, again, why not? It's fun. And yes, we can switch it to privately owned because company bugs are fun, I guess. Wait. Sorry, let me reword that. So it's currently, oh, it just auto set itself. My bad, chat. So, okay, how it works with partial bureaucrat ownership is that you get 25 bureaucrats per level, and 25% of the company dividends become government dividends. So we'll kind of let it start powering up and see what that looks like, but that is going to be a little bit before it's ready to go. Some of our new livestock ranches aren't doing too well, but I assume that's due to high grain prices. So we are going to try to resolve some of that for them. Oh man, that building of wine throughput is so nice. I just have to admire it for a moment before we continue. Let's get a bunch of wheat farms going here then. More sugar beets. I see we have a lot of unemployment here, and that's probably... Oh, you want to know what, chat? I just realized, I know why we're having such a qualifications problem. I don't know why I didn't realize it before, but it's... The reason why we're having these issues is because technically the peasants are under serfdom. They are technically under serfdom, and therefore actually can't gain various qualifications that we're missing. So our keeping of minoralism has actually made us miss out on a lot of qualifications for all those peasants we have, but most of our pops are not peasants anymore, so we can probably ignore it at this point. That's why we were having such a qualification issue earlier, is because we never thought to actually educate the masses. We kind of just assumed they knew how to read. At least we answered that problem. Commercialized agriculture. We could switch to commercialized ag, yeah. After National Guard is resolved. Although apparently, just the bourgeoisie just do not have the influence right now compared to everyone else. They really are struggling. It is struggle central for them right now. Bit unfortunate, but what can you do? I guess give them an education, but why would I do that? Yeah. That's why we're probably just gonna mass build a bunch of farms now instead. Try to get a lot of them that much needed education system. Yeah, Super Germany is fun. Also, totally forgot to pay attention to the war going on with France, but our guess was correct. France did not yet recover from the war that we were having with them. They had yet to recover, and now they're just getting their faces kicked in. So yeah, we'll liberate Occitania here. France will be pretty much destroyed. We're actually making a profit as well, chat. If you can believe it, we're actually making money fighting. We're no longer just debt spending. We could still debt spend if you want. I just wanted to note that our financial situation is no longer desperate. It's only slightly desperate. That is a lot of paper export. Okay, how's that company doing now? It's got 102 levels already. Fantastic. Hey, there we go. Occitania exists now. For all you lovers of Occitania out there, any exist. Yeah, France had a famine because we were occupying a good deal of its country. Obviously, it won't have as much of a famine now because it's not dying as much. But it was very amusing for the short time. I'm actually going to get investment rights with Burgundy now just because their empire's grown, and I'd like to just stretch out our investments a bit. France is supporting separatism again. Well, I'm sorry, France, but we can't be friends. That's just how it is. But that explains so much why we were having all those issues. Turns out minoralisms do have a downside. Who would have guessed? Just thinking for a moment, chat. Pump jacks are spreading to us. We're just gonna let that happen. Could jump straight to corporate governance, but it's 6 years, so I think we focus on some of these texts here. Human rights and feminism, I guess. We'll get socialism at some point. Corporatism's good too. Oh, hey, an executive died, so someone's executive ships have changed. I just don't know whose. What did you just join? Why are the British... Oh, it's a Spanish uprising. Never mind. That makes more sense. We could put private schools on the menu. I think we're on religious schools right now, though. We did religious schools just to get the 5% birth rate. Actually, wait, Vincent, it was you who recommended we do the birth rate maxing. Well, we didn't do a full birth rate max, but we've got a good deal of it going on now. Oh, wow, the Intelligentsia have 3 executives. Why do the Intelligentsia have 3 executives? Executive maxing by the Intelligentsia, I guess. Do have more unemployment than I'd like. That's okay. We have more construction now, so... It's one of those things that'll just kind of pay itself off as time passes. So that's why we don't have a lot of machinists either. Actually, we do have a lot of machinists. Oh. Hey, Prussia started a war against us, chat. You know what that means? Cry about the fact that we have too much infamy to do anything. Oh, we could take... Well, we could take their subject state, actually. Or... Yeah, sure. We'll make them go broke and take the subject state back. Yeah, I like the sound of that. Humiliate them as well. Yeah, that's a good sell to me. We actually, oh yeah. So, you might have noticed that bit of lag too. I think that is a performance issue on my end right now. It occasionally happens, and it wasn't happening at first when we started playing, and then eventually it just kind of started. Oh. I see we're being ganged up on, chat. That won't do. How dare they gang up on us like this? Trying to see what else we can do here. Liberate Poland, I guess. Yep, that's another time for conscripts then. Because they have a lot of troops on the border. And unfortunately, this is kind of like a situation that France was in. Our army has not fully recovered from the last fight. Well, instead of liberating the Baltics, we're going to kind of liberate Poland and Ukraine to knock the Russians on their butts. You know what? This war makes me think it's time for another round of army generation. But actually with a new army this time. Just 100 more battalions, because why not? We can afford it. Oh, it's just Austrian aristocrats. It's just Austrian aristocrats and a random rule folk guy. But at least the rule folk guy is not an aristocrat. Well, as you can see, the aristocrats have really fallen now that we actually built up all the mineralisms. Or built up all the farms. God, I'm really stuck on that word. Kind of too stuck on it, honestly. Oh, actually, yeah, if we can push through there as like a little sub-pass, them down, I'm all for it. But don't ask where the land folk are coming from. We're just taking it for now. Oh. Oh, they just took so many casualties on the front line, chat. It's time to just rival the Russians and push all the way to St. Petersburg. The Habsburgs are so back. The Catholics are so upset. Oh, yeah, because we went to war with Russia and they like Russia, so they're upset now. That makes sense. It's a bit unfortunate, but what can you do? I mean, not go to the war with the Russians, I guess, but that's going to be a whole different issue. Yeah, we definitely are going to get off Monarchism as soon as we can. I'm just trying to pass this whole National Guard thing. Well, since the Catholic Church is no longer loyal, we could just switch them out, I guess, to get a somewhat accepted government. They immediately petition us for cultural exclusion. We'll see what we can do. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. I guess, actually, we should just focus on Prussia first. Try to take Brandenburg here. Mobilize another 30,000 men, because why not? Oh, we're getting that weird fight where we're winning initially, but the troops are roped up in another battle, so I don't think we win it. I probably have to stop half of them from fighting. Yeah, we're not really a simulation maxing, but we probably won't really a simulation max that anymore. We could, but I don't know if we would. Oh, wow. We're having a lot of troops just get demoralized very quickly. I think what's happening is we're getting unlucky in battle, and the enemy's getting just a really good defensive general in charge, as you can see here. Their defense is being almost doubled, which is pretty problematic. So this might be a stalemate war unless we get a breakthrough, which I think we just did. Yeah, different general took over, now it's a loss. Oh, I'm glad to see that works. I'm just kind of spreading these out a little wherever I please. I guess Finland just has a really good general. You know, they lost some of their homeland, and they decided to just toughen up and get better generals. You know what? Where's the Navy? Take the new army and just make a distraction invasion. I don't think that will work, but we'll see if it does. Ah, there we go. Prussia gave up. I'm not sure why there's a Bohemia front border, but I'm not going to question it, I guess. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, man, the Reformer and the free market guy are just too different, ideologically speaking. I can't actually put anyone else in government with them. That's a bit of a problem. It's gonna put us back to unacceptable government. We'll just bring the rule folk in, and we'll finally end minoralisms now that we don't really, we're not really using the bonus construction. It is still good, the parts we have, but we're not really using it anymore. It's better to just modernize our laws. And now that the aristocracy is pretty weak, they aren't in position to really stop it. Honestly, we're doing well financially. I'm actually going to drop us to very low taxes and just let the standard of living rise. I know that's partially because I'm just kind of letting the private pool use up a lot of the construction instead of doing it ourselves. But that's kind of the perks here, isn't it? That we're doing so well financially, I can just let the private pool do a bunch of construction and hard drop taxes to raise our legitimacy in the eyes of the people, because we're not taxing them as much, so we're kind of tricking them. Because we have to, or else they're going to eat our heads off. That'd be really problematic, because I kind of need my head. But more importantly, this will definitely boost the standard of living by at least 1 or 2 points. And a lot of pops should pretty much avoid radicalism for the foreseeable future. It didn't quite make us to contested government, but it did minimize the potential radicals that generate per month. We do have a couple million radicals. Yeah, I don't know what's oh, I see. They managed to occupy that territory. That makes sense. Now I understand what's going on. Now it makes sense. More of those going up here. Switzerland wants to become a protectorate. We tell them no, and then we have the army keep marching. Oh, you know, at this point, it'd be easier to just march into Warsaw and end the war that way than reaching St. Petersburg. All I needed was Warsaw, and then they'll start ticking downwards. Alright, GDP's doing very nicely. We're still at, even with the increased standard of living, we're still at 2% pop growth, which is very nice. Very steady. Hey, religion, autocracy, and nationality finished. Well, the bottom two are nice. We're just going to take all hail the Kaiser because it will give the bourgeoisie 10% clout. 10% more clout. And then it's also going to make our ruler popular for 20 years. He could be at 40 if we took the other option, but oh well. The absolutist movement's already growing in response. There we go. Poland and Ukraine are on the map now, which... It does mean Poland will cause us trouble later, but it also means the Russians just got weaker. And who doesn't love a weaker Russia in their game? Oh, not that. It's like having a weaker Britain when you don't want them to naval invade you half the time. We don't really have a lot of irrigation potential, I just noticed. But I still want to increase the usage of our engines, so I'm going to bump it up. Oh, right! Lombardy usually has cotton for fabric production. I just realized, chat, I have not invested in fabric cotton plantations at all. I am very lucky that the private investment pool picked up the slack, because I was not investing in it at all. We don't need to bolster the absolutist movement. It's more like I want to bolster it because I find it really amusing to have them just be really strong. Plus, I think it plays into the whole neo-absolutist part of the run that we're going for here. So, right now, it's making 134K, that partial bureaucratic building, in dividends, and almost 30K of that is being sent to the government right now. So, but of course, then you have the government dividends efficiency that still counts, so we're still losing some of those dividends, unfortunately. So we're not getting as much out of it as we maybe could, but it is still fun to play with. And the bureaucrats themselves are living opulent lives. They do actually keep a lot of that money. Oh! Huh. So apparently the bureaucrat... Oh, no, I know why. It's because these are Hungarian bureaucrats. And they're not primary subjects, so... Oh, that's funny. Since they're Hungarians, they're just all joining the intelligentsia. That's why the intelligentsia are getting such a clout boost now. They're not joining the bourgeoisie because they're not primary culture. Which does remind me that the bourgeoisie need them to be primary culture, don't they? Yeah. Might have forgotten about that. Oh well. A small oversight, you could say. I suppose this is where simulating pops would have come in handy, but oh well. Yeah, because the South German ones are actually heavily joining the the bourgeoisie, but the Hungarian ones can't join it, so they join the intelligentsia. Well, the one of them that aren't disenfranchised, at least. So that does explain it. Build a couple in each spot, I guess. I'd say this is kind of my best Austria run to date on the newer patch. I've done Austria runs before where I've managed to annex Prussia and form Super Germany at least once. But honestly, I think this feels a lot better with the way it's gone. Might even get precision tools soon. Will, it's just a matter of time now. Yeah. Oh, if we ever get feminists around, we can actually boost our workforce ratios. And then wait 2 decades for it to finish. But at least we have it. Trying to see... We could go for gantry cranes next. Boost trade even more later on, but I'm not sure if we need to boost trade further. Oh, we'll research corporatism next. Why not? Oh, the Suez Canal finished construction, and by construction we mean the endless loop cycle it takes to finally get employment. Apparently there's North Germans here. Would you look at that? Actual North Germans. Didn't think we'd get those over there at all. I didn't even try. That's not too bad. Oh, right. We did swear about passing cultural exclusion as soon as we get done with commercial agriculture, huh? Although at the rate we're going, the government's going to be too unacceptable to do that. It's only even remotely acceptable because of our tax system. Okay, so none of them are useful then. Yeah, that's not... Kind of seeing if I could use agitators to change things, but not really. At least not the ones we initially found. Oh, goody, we're now producing precision tools. That's another thing to add to the market, I'm sure. Sweet. Yeah, I'll have more prestige good inputs now, so that's fantastic. Honestly, I don't care about the cultural fervor, so I'm just going to get a university in a lot of these states to improve their learning process a little. To counteract the fact that they've not been generating qualifications as much as they can. Also got level 3 home affairs. They're not even at 9%. Being the minority of the problem, which really does hurt. That's nice. We have pan-nationalism. We can't even do the unification play because, the Confederation. I thought so. Oh, we're not really aiming for multiculturalism, but we might be using tools in the wheat farm soon once we run out of peasants. Actually, some of them are starting to run out of peasants. I just know some areas still have a lot of unemployed. That's why I've been holding off on it. We're not aiming for multiculturalism specifically, but we are aiming for, like, a cultural exclusion. Although multiculturalism wouldn't be bad. Maybe we can get someone to migrate over here. The food industry hasn't really raised its wages since I last checked, but since we lowered taxes, the pops here are still satisfied enough. The Catholic Church is actually no longer powerful in a nation with state religion and religious schools. That's a little wild. I don't like the lag we get, though. Hopefully next time it won't have that. Honestly, we could pop a few more of these down now and be fine. And delay, which one do I want? I'll take the inactive time. Try to pass it faster. We're probably going to fail the cultural exclusion petition, right, just because the law is taking so long to pass. Under our current circumstances. Honestly, at this point, I'm just going to switch out and put the industrialists in because they'll support it too. For whatever reason, they're more amicable. And we're still using a lot of logging, but I feel like that's because of our furniture company. We actually might need to import wood at this rate if this continues. Speaking of which, our top 2 exports are still paper and groceries. Because why not? Then it's furniture, and now we're exporting tools as our 4th highest, while importing thousands of iron. We should probably get free trade at some point. That would probably be a good step. Okay, there we go. It's at least of equal time now. I've noticed our radicalism is still growing because of low legitimacy, sadly. Some people have actually lost standard of living too, but I'm pretty sure radicalism is plateauing. We're just having a bit of a low legitimacy problem. Some of it. 782, that's not wait. I love how powerful the intelligentsia are becoming, because somehow the intelligentsia own 3 companies, and they're getting a good chunk of strength from the Hungarian bureaucrats working in the company, because they can't join the bourgeoisie. The strength from Austria is not surprising, because they have art academies here, and they have universities. I'm not really surprised by that in the slightest. Oh, I forgot we did our tech. But yeah, that part doesn't surprise me at all. There we are. So we're not going to be able to pass cultural exclusion in time, I don't think. But we'll go ahead and try. Technically, absolutism wants to maintain subjecthood, but we could just go ahead and pass cultural exclusion against separatism resistance and just kind of make everyone generally more accepted. Since we will share a heritage trait with pretty much everyone, it'll make them very accepted outside their homelands. Still be discriminated, though, but, you know, oh well. They just won't be as discriminated. I think breech-loading artillery is fortuitous. It is often something we need more of, breech-loaded artillery. Yeah, we're gonna at least try to pass it. The good news is that any of the South German farmers that exist are now able to join the bourgeoisie. This is gonna hurt the rural folk, but it's gonna help the bourgeoisie a little at least. Kind of want to research socialism next just to get the costs down, but I also kind of don't want to. Oh, you know what? We have oil, so we can grab vacuum canning. We have access to oil deposits now. Not a lot, but we do have access. Ooh. United by blood. I will take that game. Anything to buff our bourgeoisie. Even if only slightly. Yeah, most of their clout is from Austria itself, and then it's just very weak outside of it. Alright, we'll start activating some of the automation to at least reduce the number of potential laborers who could join a certain trade union movement. Okay, not there, because that doesn't add tools. There we go, we have some more unemployed again. Not by a lot, though. There we go. No, even without suppressing and bolstering, we wouldn't make it in time. We're still at an unacceptable government, which is adding too much extra time. There's also the issue of that it might not even successfully pass multiple times. So it'll fail, but we're at least going to try to pass it anyway, even if it fails. Since we kind of want to grab it regardless. Where do all these tool workshops come from? A Chechen national awakening. I shouldn't laugh, it's not funny, it's just kind of like, it popped up in the feed, and I was like, huh, that's weird. Hey, the British trade with us now, so I guess they're not blockading us anymore. Sorry, embargoing us. They don't really have the capability to blockade us anymore compared to the game start. Yeah, this is definitely doing better than the furniture company. It's giving us a nice amount of money, too. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and raise the bureaucrat wages while we're at it. Because why not? Oh, technically it's government wages, but I'm just saying bureaucrat because that's our real reason for raising it. Plus, their higher standard of living will cause them to be less to intelligentsia aligned and more bourgeoisie aligned. So, why not? We're not going to care about the pop growth anymore. Not as much. Concert interrupted by the French. I mean, the French interrupted the concert a long time ago. It's been a while. But I'm glad to see they recognize the threat. And won't ask us any further questions. Hey, the bourgeoisie are finally over 10% clout. It took a while, but they're finally over it. Oh, that's a lot of coffee cost. How is trade looking? I assume it's been expanding trade fine. Wow. Import of steel, import of wood. Oh, we don't need to import steel. We can make steel. We're not a poor country that can't afford to make steel or something silly like that. We just don't have a lot of good spots to make it in. Yeah, that's true. Government wages are bureaucrat wages. So what I was saying wasn't wrong, but it was more than just the bureaucrats who'd be getting the wages. It's also the clergymen working the building as well as the clerks. Though the clerks tend to support bourgeoisie anyway, so we have that going for us. Oh, apparently the Kaiser's a basic entrepreneur as well. I can see dabbles in his spare time. Oh, nice. Another Montenegrin revolt. Montenegro is not having a good time. Oh, Algeria's free. I forgot about that. Nice. Just good old France losing everything. As it should. In our runs. that a socialist revolt? It's a communist revolt. Lusitania apparently has too much of an ideologically different allegiance. Ah, I see, okay. One moment, chat. I'm just trying to see if Lusitania is willing to negotiate here at all. No, even with the negative wiped out, that would be a pretty much a big no. Yeah. Oh, we'll just eat the rules and carry on. Just eat the radicals and carry on. Oh, Prussia's coming to war for us again, which I don't mind because it's just an easy excuse to go to war against them. Well, we'll take the rest of the state. That's a split state, I suppose. And then I don't know what else to take from them. Pretty sure they're already humiliated. Oh, not anymore, but they were. Honestly, to hell with it. We'll seize both of these areas because that's pretty much almost 40% of their economy. I wasn't planning to expand into Prussia, but Prussia keeps us. So at this point, we're just gonna beat them up for it. We could transfer their subjects, but to be honest, Prussia's subjects aren't worth that much. Unfortunately, we've become such a near pariah again that people are joining against us, and that includes our longtime ally and friend Sweden is now turning against us. Actually, they ended our relationship at some point. I think they just ended it. Well, not that it matters too much. We can face them all. Our army has breech-loaded artillery, so it'll be fine. Naval Industries are getting the investment. That's great. There we go. Like, neither of their subjects are even connected to us by land, so they would just separate later. Which is why they're not really particularly useful to grab at this stage. I love how Luca couldn't leave the power block even if it wants to, it's just encircled. Yeah, that poor emperor is not doing me any favors. Oh, hey, a revolution in Poland. Unfortunately, Poland's antagonistic to us. Otherwise, we could maybe make them a subject, but oh well. I still find it funny that Burgundy exists in the game. Partially thanks to our own assistance, but it's still funny. I know we're importing a lot of iron, so I'm just going to build up a bunch of our iron deposits. Since apparently we need the iron anyway. May as well just mass iron domestically. That'll actually free up trade slots for other potential trades too, which is nice. Unless it's still better to just import it, then they'll just keep importing it. 120, they're just building paper non-stop and exporting it. Ooh, Kaiser of the South Germans. This guy is just getting popularity bonus after popularity bonus. He's at 150 now. He could be at 250 other version, but I think it ended. Yeah, it's already gone anyway, so it doesn't matter. Bureaucrats are currently sitting at 12.4% of total clout and 1% of the population. They have more clout than aristocrats. Bureaucrats still have more, though, which is not really surprising when you consider what they are. Brazil left. We could technically end the war, but Sweden doesn't want to sue for peace, so we're just having to invade the rest of Prussia anyway. Which is fine, they'll just surrender in a few weeks. Not much will change. Except more Germans will die, I guess, but, well, all they had to do is surrender. Okay, yeah, now we're really starting to actually deplete into our reserve of peasants, which is good to see. I'm very happy to see that, because then it means we can enact more automation. And we're actually going to go ahead and start activating steam donkeys in all the mines now. And logging camps. Well, we did unlock steam-powered thresher machines, too. There we go. I just watched peasants and unemployment jump up for at least another million total between the two of them. There we go. Some more states for us. Headquarters that don't matter. Oh, hey, they're not led by a traditionalist, which actually messed up our government acceptance. Uh-oh. There we go. We now have cultural exclusion. So for a lot of the pops, it's going to take over a decade before the cultural integration fully decays. There's definitely a number of pops that are going to be pretty heavily discriminated for a while, I believe. At least outside their homelands. Inside their homelands, they should be fine. Because of the heritage trait. But any of them living outside of it are actually going to suffer. Yeah, our full acceptance was over 80%. It's now collapsing, but this is unsurprising. We expected this to happen. A lot of them are falling into open prejudice or cultural erasure. But once the cultural communities shift enough, it'll be okay. And they'll be pretty accepted again. It's just that huge, like, -40 penalty. Because while we were under subject to it, they were getting a massive bonus to acceptance in homeland states. But that's okay. Yeah, that's a lot of reinvestment going on now. Now we can trade up more troops and use more groceries in the military, which just improves their effectiveness. So honestly, I think we're in a very good position. Coal company might be possible, yeah. It won't be till we get our next company slot, though, which isn't until corporate governance, because we're not going for the technocracy route, so we're not going to get that company. But that's okay. Let's get the rotary valve. We could use it. Nice. I mean, for Habsburg dominance, this is looking pretty good, chat. This is looking pretty good. I do see the Russians are invading the Ottomans, which... Oh, they're going to go for their third Rome. You know, we've been at it for about 3.5 hours now. We're about to reach 1880, which is very good. I see we're doing our higher fire fund a little less now, too, which is nice. Oh, right, we just don't have the aristocrats, so Bohemia can't get them, which we already established is not working out. Why your standard of living just collapsed suddenly? Why is that? Is Bohemia under... I guess a heat wave would do it, but I don't think a heat wave would do it. I think it would, but I don't think it would. I'll just turn that off because I don't think we're getting German unification anytime soon. Oh, this is actually near finished, being finished. 66%? That's terrifying. Let's see. The paper company's making the most profit. I love it. It's getting dividends from trade centers, which helps, but it also has some fairly productive mills. Although these mills are not paying a lot of money, so... Though that could just be because the workers recently fell down in social status. Either one is possible, really. We're exporting 12,000 tools now, though, so that's amazing. Yeah, we are the world's leading importer and exporter, which I expected. The biggest importer is Britain. That's not a surprise. Britain's probably upset that it has to import all this stuff. Yeah. Yeah, they need us. They won't admit it, but they need us. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's why researching the rotary valve engine is that we're just going to start laying down more automation now that the population levels are low for the unemployed sector. Well, we also need a lot more merchant marines, I've noticed. So after the rotary valve, honestly, we'll probably just have gantry cranes finished so we have more of those. And then we could even jump into floating harbor for the trade centers. Oh, that burgundy color is beautiful, but it's also disgusting. I'm surprised they're still our ally. They haven't taken it yet. We could break it first instead. I just don't want to. I could do it at any time. I just choose not to do it right now. And this company is sending 128k government dividends. And then after government dividend efficiency, we're keeping almost 64k of it. There are 2 techs we could get to get up to 10% more efficiency. But unless we go command economy, that's as good as it'll get. And there really isn't any support or appetite for a command economy, despite the bureaucratic strength it would give. Oh. The Americans are invading Canada, but none of their work will target Canada. So the Americans are just burning Canada to the ground then. They've been burning Canada to the ground. Yeah, they've definitely been doing it because the devastation here is alarmingly high. And it takes occupying it for a few years to reach this level. At least 2 full years. So, yeah, at this point, the Americans are nation-ruining Canada. Yeah. Or Canada. I don't think it did anything wrong. Definitely going to need to invest in more lines as a result, but that's not hard. I'm not taking in a Republican. Oh, the industrialists are led by a positivist. Huh. That's a little alarming. Wow, we can make 221k on graduated taxation at very low. Damn, alright. That would be nice. I don't think there's any good agitators for us to get. It is partially French, that is true. That is true. The Franco-Canadian region. Honestly, with commercialized agriculture done, I kind of want to just kick the industrialists back out now. They have a lot of clout, alarmingly so. And then we can just pull the Catholic Church back in and actually have a legitimate government instead. Also, so they please stop sabotaging education because it hurts. We could actually try to pass compulsory primary school too, which I think we'll try to do next. Either that or regulatory bodies, because both are useful. Actually, we probably want a welfare system at some point too. The industrialists will just oppose most of them. Keyword being most, they don't care that badly about poor laws. Just kind of thinking. You know, I think, yeah, what we'll try to do next is end child labor to get the mortality down and get more education going. Because educating the masses is important for an enlightened era. And then, of course, poor laws was what we'll need too, or at least one of the laws. We don't really have to go for poor laws necessarily, but I would like to. I know we just gave you some automation production methods, but what about if we gave you more automation production methods? Just to, like, really run those unemployment numbers up. Which really just converted most of them into peasants, but oh well. That's not really a problem for us. Yeah, Bohemia suddenly has a lot of peasants again. We also have way too much money at this point. We're on very... We could drop some of our consumption taxes, I suppose, if we're still making too much money. Nothing too serious, but probably some of the luxury taxes. We could find something to spend the authority on. Such as suppressing the positivist movement here. Since it wants to overthrow our autocratic regime and overthrow the monarchy, I should mention. Which obviously is not good. So yeah, we'll suppress it here and kind of win it. Dropping the consumption taxes will also help mostly the middle and upper strata pops be richer. Our lower strata pops won't benefit as much. Well, I mean, is a part of stimulant needs now, I think. Yeah, it is part of stimulant needs. So I suppose it has some benefit in helping the lower strata a little too. Just not as much by comparison. Our economy did peak at 370 million and suddenly fell, which I really just surmise is that a bunch of pops became peasants and started demanding less. And certain businesses temporarily made less money because of the sudden spike in automation costs. Uh-oh. Chat, this journal entry scares me. It's a funny journal entry that will not last long, trust me. We can either kind of go with its initial of just buy, invest, and expand, which would be this. It would cause less of a crash, but we could also just full throat invest into it if we want to. All reducing the crash effects will do is that it's going to make it to where the negatives from this aren't as strong. Or actually, this is what the negatives would be under a regular crash. They're harsher under a stronger crash, I believe. I'm not sure. Oh, no, I don't know. You know, I think with what time it is, this might be a good place to leave off. And we can have a vote done on which one to take, and then just continue from there on the next stream. Because I think I'm going to end it here. I had a lot of fun with this stream today. Very, very fun. It's a shame we had a couple of audio issues here and there, but I've enjoyed it overall. Thank you all for coming. I hope all of you had a really good time watching it. It was fun to do this and make content again. I'm going to try to make more tutorial videos for Victoria 3 before Eve 5 drops. But I'll otherwise continue this game with future live streams. I'm going to see you all next time. Thank you.